that, Dewana? Dewana, do I get a thumbs up? I can't see a thumb. I can't see a toe. Here so she can show everybody how to do this dance. Come on, Kelly. Let's go. Join the step. There we go. Come on now. Slide to the right. Slide to the left. Right foot, left foot, then turn. Right foot, left foot, let's go. Come on now. Uh-oh.
Featuring the Platinum Band, and this time we're gonna get funky.
Uh-oh. Where's Bryson Powell?
Funky. Everybody clap your hands. Clap, 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 clap your hands.
Yeah, come on.
Clap, 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 clap your hands. All right, now, we're gonna do the basic step. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. Right foot, let's stomp. Left foot, let's stomp. Cha-cha, real smooth. Turn it out. To the left. Take it back now, y'all. One hop this time. Right foot, let's stomp. Left foot, let's stomp. Cha-cha now, y'all.
All right, all right, all right. Yeah, we are partying here in Atlanta, Georgia. We're cha-cha. We're doing all kinds of slides and steps and all this other stuff going on. Let me tell you, Atlanta, Georgia is living up to its no more being hot Atlanta. It's living up to its name. We're excited to be here. I'm Attorney Darrell Jones, the board chair of the Transformative Justice Coalition. And we are excited to welcome everyone here to Good Trouble Lives On in Atlanta, Georgia, honoring the legacy of Congressman John Lewis. It was 6 years ago this weekend that we lost Congressman John Lewis, and let me tell you, Barbara Arnwine is going to tell you the story of how we came about to lift up this baton and continue running on in the legacy of voting rights for John Lewis. Ladies and gentlemen, the president as well as the founder of the Transformative Coalition, the president emeritus of the Lawyers Committee of Civil Rights Under Law. Y'all give it up for attorney Barbara Arnwine.
Yes. Hi, everybody. Good morning. Hey, it's time to make good trouble. Yes. We're grateful for everyone who is here and all those who are coming. We are going to have an amazing day because all around this country, there are over 700 activations this weekend of people saying, good trouble! It is my pleasure to honor the legacy of John Lewis. How many people in the audience met him, had an opportunity to touch him, to hear him, to feel him? He was that kind of a man. When I travel the country and people see this shirt, they say, I knew him. I met him. He touched my life. He came out to our reservation and spoke. He came out to our barrio and spoke. He was there on the front lines of every battle, and that is why we love him and we love his legacy. When he passed, Darrell Jones and I went to the Capitol of the United States, and they were moving people around the line because there were thousands of people. But Darrell and I did something that no one expected. We took a knee, got down on our knees, and we made a pledge that we had not even thought before we got there. And we said, John Lewis, your name will never die. Your legacy will live on, not just in someone's memory, not just in somebody's written account, but in your spirit of people getting out here and fighting for our democracy, fighting for our voting rights. That was our pledge, and we have done, this is our 6th anniversary of having these gorgeous, wonderful John Lewis Good Trouble Lives On. Folks, today is just one stop, right? In a journey. We got a journey that we're on. The journey is called, yes, Protect Our Vote. The journey is called Good Trouble. The journey is called We Will Make Sure that on November 3rd, the people's vote will count. The people's vote will be heard, and that we will be able to honor John Lewis in every regard. So it is such an honor. If you're watching in Los Angeles, thank you for getting up so early. If you're watching in Chicago, thank you for watching. If you're watching in Houston, Texas, thank you for watching this broadcast today. Because all of us must be united. It's not about one of us, not one organization. It's about what, everybody? All of us. All of us. All of us making good trouble. Thank you, Darrell.
Thank you, Barbara. Folks, there's no way we could begin this program without giving proper homage to our roots.
Right.
And I'm going to ask just a phenomenal lady, a phenomenal person, a phenomenal singer to come up and sing for us and open the program with what we call the Negro National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing. Y'all, welcome Kelly Banks. Kelly.
Good morning, everybody. Okay. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoices rise high as a listening skies. Let it resound loud as a rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Let us the sunning sun of a new day begun. Let us march on for victory. Is won. Thank you.
Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much for that rendition of Lift Every Voice and Sing. In the South, we try to pay homage to everything that the South would have us do and what Congressman John Lewis would have us do. We're going to now have an opening prayer. We're going to ask Minister Edward Ward to please come bring us in prayer.
Amen. If you would bow your heads with me really quickly. Most gracious and divine Heavenly Father, God of the oppressed, God and protector of the vulnerable, we come to you giving you humble thanks. Thanks for the people who've arrived here today, God. Thank you for the folks who are not just rooted in this fight and grounded in this fight, but embody the fight for justice, embody the fight for freedom, embody the fight for democracy. God, we say thank you as we continue to carry the legacy of the enduring spirits of our ancestors, the legacy of the enduring spirit of John Lewis. God, we say thank you that the fight is not over, that victory is still being fought for. God, we give you thanks this day, and we ask that you would come into this space, God, that you will come into this great state of Georgia, and that you will show that justice shall once again roll down. Father, in the name of Jesus, we give you thanks, God, and we ask that you continue to guide our feet, guide our hearts, guide our minds, and guide our hands to do the work of mercy, love, and justice for all. In Jesus' name, your people said, amen.
Thank you so much for that prayer, Minister Ward. You know, folks, as Barbara indicated, 6 years ago, John Lewis passed away. And one of the things that we've seen happen has been an erosion of voting rights. One of the things that we've seen happen has been an attack on voting rights, an attack on inclusion, an attack on the principles of our democracy. It's our pleasure to bring up a fighter, someone who has been in the trenches for voting rights, someone who was in the Georgia State House when they decided that they were going to try to redistrict and reduce black representation in the state of Georgia. He was there. He's in the community leading the fight to protect every voice so that every voice can be heard. Every opportunity to elect someone to speak for you at the table, you have that opportunity. It's our pleasure to bring forward Georgia State Representative, Representative Robert Flournoy. Georgia State Representative, District 74.
Good morning, everyone. Now, I need us to have a little bit more energy because I need them to hear us on the south side, the north side, the east side, and the west side to know that we are here this morning to cause some good trouble. I said, good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I want to thank the organizers for inviting me and my wife. My wife is Jamila is here with me. I am Georgia State Representative Robert Flournoy, and I am proud to represent the 74th District here in the state of Georgia, which includes Henry and Clayton counties. And so this morning, we have some people from the south side. This morning, I felt like it was important for me to be here because oftentimes people might see the title and they might see us at the Capitol walking around proposing legislation or voting on legislation. But I believe that it's important for people like myself to be here because I would not be here if I was not standing on the shoulders of individuals like John Lewis who helped to pave the way for people like myself. And so as we gather today to honor the life, the legacy, the work of John Lewis, I'm reminded of one of his most famous sayings: get in good trouble, get in necessary trouble. I'm sure that we all have been privy to watching the television and seeing the man that's in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, I won't call his name, because they are trying to dilute what we have begun. In the summer of 1964, that was a freedom summer that individuals like John Lewis helped to start to push for our civil rights, for our voting rights. And we are standing here today in 2026, understanding that they are trying to dilute those very same rights. So we have to remember that good trouble means standing for what is right when it isn't popular. Good trouble means refusing to accept injustice as inevitable. Good trouble means believing that every voice deserves to be heard and every citizen deserves to participate in our democracy. Ordinary people did extraordinary things because they believed that the right to vote was worth sacrificing for. Some of them marched. Some were arrested. Some even gave their very lives because they understood something we can never afford to forget. The right to vote is just not a ballot, it is power. It is dignity, it is our voice. And we will not allow anyone to allow them to remove our voice because we have fought way too hard to have our voices heard. But today we face something different. We face different challenges, but the responsibility is still the same. Across this country, we continue to see efforts that make voting rights more difficult or lessen the political influence of communities that have fought so hard to be heard. That is why this moment right now requires more than remembrance, it requires resolve. And I believe that I'm looking at people that's not just about standing and holding signs, but we understand that there's a fight that has to take place. On November 3rd, we have to make sure that we call our neighbors, our friends, our family members, anyone that we can to make sure that we go out and vote because the momentum is on our side. All we have to do is continue to make sure that we push. John Lewis often said, democracy is not a state, it's an act. An act means participation. An act means showing up. An act means making sure that our families, our neighbors, and especially our young people understand that their voices matter. Surely we can walk into a polling place. If they endure jail cells, we can register a new voter. If they sacrifice for our future, we can sacrifice a little time to protect it. My brothers and sisters, voting has never been more important. When fewer people vote, others decide the future for us. When we stay at home, someone else speaks for our communities. But when we vote, our voices are heard, our concerns are acknowledged, and our children see democracy at work. So the greatest way that we can honor John Lewis today is not just by simply quoting him. It is by continuing to do the work. So let's organize, let's educate, let's encourage, let's register voters, let's help someone get to the polls. Let's make sure that every eligible voter understands what is at stake, not just for this election, but for generations to come. Because history will ask us, what did we do when democracy needed us? My answer will be, we showed up today. My answer will be, we stood together. My answer will be, we protected the right to vote. And we continued the legacy of John Lewis by getting in some good trouble. So in my close, I want to just quote a scripture. Being an assistant pastor of a church, Micah, the 6th chapter and the 8th verse says, he has shown you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly before your God. So may we leave here committed not just to remembering history, but to making it. May we remember that each and every person is important under God's sight. I want to say that may we ask to continue to bless this great state, and may we also continue to ask God to bless this great country. Thank you again. God bless each of you.
Thank you so much for those remarks. It is now our pleasure to welcome to the stage a wonderful singer who is going to bring you a song. Can I call on Aaron Stubbs to come and delight us with some wonderful music?
There's a voice that cries out in the silence, searching for a heart that will love him, and longing for a child that will give him their all, give it all. He wants it all. And there's a God that walks over the earth. He's searching for a heart that will love him, and longing for a child that will give him their all, give it all. He wants it all. And he says, love me with your whole heart. He wants it all today. Serve me with your life now. He wants it all today. Bow down, let go of your idols. He wants it all today. He wants it all today. He wants it all today. So give it all. And there's a God that walks over the earth. He's searching for a heart that is desperate, and longs for a child that will give him their all, give it all. He wants today. He wants it all of you, more of you, wants it all today. All of you, more of you, wants it all today. All of you, more of you, wants it all today, today, today. He wants it all today. He wants it all today. So give it all. There's a voice that cries out in the silence. He searched for a heart that will love him and longs for a child that will give him their all, give it all. He wants it all.
So beautiful. Let me hear another hand for that gorgeous singing. Whoa. Uh-oh. I'm sorry, everybody. There we go. You know I can't adjust that. Okay. At this time, we would like to call to the stage Martha Shockey, Cal Gomez Lineweber, Sarah Hunt Blackwell. Will you please all come to the stage so that you can be lined up for speaking? In the interim, let me bring you a special greeting from the family of John Lewis. Uncle Grant and Gen 3, they want you to know how much they appreciate everyone who uplifts their relatives' legacy. That they want you to know that from Troy, Alabama, from Florida, from here in Georgia, that they send you their love and their gratitude for honoring their amazing brother, uncle, great uncle, granduncle. They are so grateful to you. So as we move on, let's keep the family lifted up so that they will always know that we feel them and that we are with them. In that honor, we are about to bring up our next speakers. It is my pleasure to welcome to the stage someone I met. You know, sometimes, folks, you only meet people in these boxes on Zoom, right? You wonder, what are they really like, you know, when you meet them in person? And we're so happy that one of the boxes that has exploded and is here on this stage today is one Martha Shockey, who is the head of Indivisible, Georgia.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to Atlanta. I'm with the Indivisible Georgia Coalition, and our job is to educate voters and hold our elected officials accountable. We do that every day, 24/7. You can find our tent over here if you want to join us. But today, my job is to hold up the name of one of our sisters, Dr. Linda Davis. Dr. Linda Davis was a Savannah native, a very respected and loved member of her community in Savannah. She was an educator. She was part of her community and well loved. One morning, she was going to work to teach her special education students, and she got caught in an ICE chase, and she was killed. So today if you will stand with me and say, Dr. Linda Davis. Dr. Linda Davis. Dr. Linda Davis. We want to continue to say her name for her family who love her. Today is the 5th anniversary of her death. And for all of our other brothers and sisters in Georgia in particular who have died at the hands of ICE. We are all members of this community. There is no status to be a part of the beloved community. Thank you all for being here. Continue to share her name, and thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Martha, for those words and for lifting it up. And folks, you know, we've got to remember all those that are part of our community. And when I say our community, I mean the large community, because there are no individual segments that make up a community. It is a large community that includes everyone. And so we want to be certain that we continue to remember that, particularly in these times when we hear about immigration custom enforcement and all the killings that have occurred, 3 within a week, 4 within a week, that we remember that those are members of the community. They're not non-community members. They are part of us, and we must remember that. It's our pleasure to bring up to the stage the policy director from an organization that's based on grassroots here in Georgia, organization that is in Georgia, but all over America. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the policy director for Common Cause, Kyle Gomez Lineweber.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. My name is Kyle Gomez Lineweber, and I serve as the Georgia Policy Director at Common Cause. It's an honor to be here to remember and honor the life and legacy of a Georgia icon, Congressman John Lewis. More than 50 years ago, Common Cause was founded as a people's lobby, built on a radical idea that ordinary people, organized together, could hold power accountable and make this democracy answer to them, not the wealthy and not the powerful elite, but to the people. Over 20,000 Common Causers are right here in Georgia, and 1 million Common Causers live throughout the nation and carry that work forward. One of the great figures who helped shape that vision was Dr. Dorothy Height, a giant of the civil rights movement, the godmother of the civil rights movement, a woman who stood shoulder to shoulder with Congressman Lewis and Dr. King, who served as a founding member on Common Cause's National Governing Board. She understood that democracy and justice were never separate fights, but the same fight. That's the fight that John Lewis gave his life to. He taught us that freedom is not a state, it's an act. The continuous action each generation must take to build a more just society, not something we inherit and set on a shelf, something we do again and again, each and every day, or risk losing. So let's be honest about the moment we're living in. The Voting Rights Act that John Lewis bled for on the Edmund Pettus Bridge has been attacked and weakened. And across this country, people are dying as their constitutional rights are violated. Here in Georgia, human beings have died in ICE custody. We say the name of the most recent victim to lose his life in Georgia while detained by ICE, Jesus Manuel Arenas Silva. And just this month, this violence again turned to gunfire. In Houston, Lorenzo Salgado, a 52-year-old father driving his crew to a construction site, was shot and killed by an ICE officer. And this week in Maine, Juan Sebastian Duran, a 25-year-old father, was shot and killed by an ICE officer in front of his 3-year-old daughter, still in her pajamas. We say their names because a democracy that disappears people, that guns down fathers and mothers and loved ones in the street is no democracy at all. John Lewis told us exactly what to do in a moment like this. When you see something that is not right, not fair, not just, you have to speak up. You have to say something. You have to do something. He had his own word for that action. He called it getting into good trouble, necessary trouble. So here's your good trouble for today and moving forward. Yes, register to vote and make sure everyone you love is registered too. But if you want to do more, if you want to take an act of resistance, plug into the election protection work that Common Cause and so many of our partners do here in Georgia, because every voter deserves to exercise their right to vote with ease and confidence. And as conspiracy theories continue to be bolstered by this administration and its supporters, I call on you to support your poll workers, especially those right here in Fulton County, the neighbors who make democracy run and who deserve our thanks and our protection. John Lewis handed us the torch. The names of John Lewis, the names of Dorothy Height are why we carry it. The names of those who have lost their lives in custody of ICE, detained by ICE, are why we carry it. So let's make some good trouble. We can do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kyle. You know, Common Cause lives up to its name. If you just listen to its name, it tells you what it's about. It's about a cause that's common to all of us. Not to some of us, not the elite class, but to everybody. And so we're so appreciative of Common Cause and what it stands for and the words that Kyle Gomez Lineweber just brought forward. Equally important to Common Cause is another organization that we've worked closely with across the nation. Another organization who, when challenges are brought forward, they don't back down. They stand up. When others are ready to turn and walk away, they turn to walk in, because they know that to protect democracy, you got to be willing to stand up, to talk, to say something, to be heard, to be somebody, and be certain that everyone around you knows that you're somebody. This organization, I say, is always on fire. And the speaker we have coming today from the ACLU of Georgia, the senior policy advisor, Attorney Sarah Hunt Blackwell. Sarah Hunt Blackwell. She's on fire, y'all. She's coming up. Come on.
Hello, good morning, Atlanta. Good morning, how we feeling? Good, good. I'm honored to be here with you all this morning. My name is Sarah Hunt Blackwell. I'm Senior Policy Counsel at the ACLU of Georgia. I want to share a few thoughts with you all this morning on legacy, a word that we've heard a few times this morning already. After all, we are here today honoring the legacy of Congressman John Lewis and his fight for all of our rights. His life, his work demonstrates that legacy is proof of our priorities. Congressman Lewis made his priorities plain. He was unwavering in the fight to end racial discrimination using nonviolent action. He dedicated his life to the movement through his time with SNCC as a freedom rider, serving on the Atlanta City Council, and later as the representative for Georgia's 5th Congressional District. Exactly, clap it up for that. Congressman Lewis shared carried an unshakable belief in the power of the Black vote, a belief so strong that he excused a little bit of good trouble in order to protect it. Congressman Lewis's priorities culminated into the legacy of a man who lived and died in furtherance of liberty and justice for all, a legacy to be proud of. On the opposite side of the coin, the current presidential administration, Supreme Court, and some candidates for the midterms this year are showing us exactly where their priorities lie and the legacies that they'll leave behind. Their priorities will leave a legacy of public mistrust, violence, and subversion of our democracy. Their priorities will leave a legacy of political pandering, greed, and the erosion of democratic principles and constitutional rights that give this country its glory. We can choose better. We can build a legacy that we're proud of, but our priorities, the priorities of the people, have to be aligned. Greek philosophy tells us that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. I believe that the whole can only be as great as the sum of its priorities. What will we prioritize now in order to continue Congressman Lewis's legacy? Our legacy should prove that we prioritize fairness, where our districts and the legislators who represent them actually reflect the population. Our legacy should prove that we prioritize accountability, where our lawmakers truly act in service of the people instead of the mega rich and their own private interests. Our legacy should prove that we prioritize humanity above all else, where our government cannot murder people in the streets, attack people because of the color of their skin, or rip families apart. This country's legacy is in the hands of the people, of you and me. This November, we have to vote like our legacy depends on it, because it does. Thank you.
Y'all give that up for Sarah Hunt Blackwell.
Yeah! And the ACLU! All right now.
We know the ACLU is one of those organizations like Common Cause that is just in the fight.
Right, and weren't we so happy, everyone, about last Monday on the 13th, the Transformative Justice Coalition, the GTLO, John Lewis Good Trouble Lives On Coalition, joined with the ACLU to put on the first Know Your Rights for Voting session. And that is yet another front that we're opening and making sure that voters have the knowledge and the capabilities of navigating this new landscape of voting. That's right.
You know, there comes a time when you've got to push back.
Right.
And what we are learning and what we are watching is that we've got to be certain that for each and every challenge that comes to our voting rights here in this country, that we do not sit idly by and let it happen. We know that when you're dealing with an administration and when you're dealing with an entity that wants you to be afraid, that wants you to be nervous, that wants you to think about what you're about to do before you go to vote. When you're dealing with an authoritarian type of regime,
Well,
what they count on is your fear. And if they can get you to be afraid that you will not exercise your right to vote, that's the hope. And they think that that fear will be contagious and that people will continue and grow and the fear will grow because of the contagiousness of what they're trying to lay out. Oh, but what we know here today, Georgia, what we know here today, America, is that we know that fear is contagious, but we also know that courage is contagious too.
yeah!
And we have the courage to stand up for our democracy. We have the courage to stand up for the children. We have the courage to stand up for our seniors. We have the courage to stand up and demand that everyone be treated equally, regardless of where you begin your life. When you come to the shores of the United States, you have some basic rights that are there. You shouldn't be put away in a concentration camp. No, that's not how we do it. We demand the courts be held accountable. We demand that the majority in Congress be held accountable. We're not going to be in fear of you, members of Congress. We want you to do your jobs. We elected you. You did not elect us. And we will not allow you to get in a position of saying that you're going to select who you want to vote. Democracy demands that every community be fairly represented, that every vote be counted, and we will stand for nothing less. This weekend, when we celebrate the life of John Lewis, we know that when he was going across that Edmund Pettus Bridge, he had a choice. He saw the Alabama State Troopers on the other side. He had a choice. When he got to the top, the apex of that bridge, and he looked down and he saw the horses, he knew that he had hundreds of other people behind him for whom he felt responsible. And the question was, what choice would he make? Would he make the choice of saying, my voting rights and my community's voting rights are so precious that I got to go forward? Or would he say, I'm concerned about what will happen to me if I move forward? We've got to make that decision that he made, that those that were behind him and were coming behind him, the generations that are coming behind us, we've got to make the choice to stand up. We've got to make the choice to cross our Edmund Pettus bridges that are in our community, that are here across this country today. We're at an Edmund Pettus Bridge moment. But the question is, will you cross it? Or will you turn around and retreat? That's the decision that we're making today in this country. It's our pleasure to bring up somebody who knows a thing about crossing Edmund Pettus bridges, who knows a thing about crossing.
Well, everybody, I want you to know that you made this nation proud, Georgia, because you turned it out and you showed your state legislature what we're made out of, that we will not allow them to abuse us. We are so blessed to have one of the many leaders of that amazing campaign to say, you won't take away our voting rights, you won't mess up our districts, you won't be racist on our watch. We want to bring up right now one of the most amazing attorneys in the country.
And I don't say that because he's one of my fraternity brothers in Alpha Phi Alpha. I say it because he is a great attorney and a strong leader. Y'all, give it up for Brother Gerald Graves.
Good morning, Georgia. Come on, y'all can do better than that. Good morning, Georgia. You know, when Daryl and Barbara asked me to come, it was a no-brainer because John Lewis was more than a congressman. He was more than a statesman. He was more than the conscience of the Congress. He was a friend. He was a mentor. He was a legend who thought it not robbery to march with all of us. And so as we reflect on the legacy that he left us, we must complete the business that is set before us. You know, a few weeks ago in Georgia, we sent a message, and the message was, get your hands off our districts. We marched from this hallowed hall here at Big Bethel A.M.E. Church down to the Capitol. And before we got to the Capitol, Georgia flinched. Not because it was a thing of goodwill, but because the people were speaking. Now, I remember the last time that I marched with John Lewis. It was Families Belong Together when they were putting children in cages under Trump's first administration. And he told us at that march to stay in the streets, to continue to get in good and necessary trouble, because it is incumbent upon us when injustice shows up that people of good conscience show up. And so I know that he's smiling down on us right now from heaven, dancing to happy, and focused on what will happen in November. But we have to remember that John is now resting, and he has passed the torch on to us. So 50 years from now, what will people say that we did? 50 years from now, what will people write in the history books about our Edmund Pettus moment? What will people say when we stood up to our Bull Connor and we stood up to our George Wallace? Well, I'm gonna tell you what they're going to say. The same thing they said in November of 2020, when we made sure that somebody couldn't find 11,780 votes. And then we locked him up. We must remember that Georgia is the birthplace of civil rights, and Georgia will be the birthplace of social justice, because our ancestors have ceded us the courage to speak truth to power in season and out of season. So I will close with this to my dear brother John. You left us in good hands. There are legions of warriors now, and we, as in the words of the great Negro spiritual from Atlanta, we ain't never scared. Thank you, guys.
All right, Gerald. All right now. Come on, once again for Attorney Gerald Griggs. And once again for all the amazing people of Georgia who this legislature felt that it could threaten to take away 2 black congressional districts, 26 state districts that were represented by blacks and Latinos, and the people said, what? No! Thank you, Georgia, thank you.
Thank you, Barbara, and absolutely right. You know, Attorney Gerald Griggs is one of those people that has just been in the fight. He doesn't go around looking for a fight, but you start swinging at his community, and he's going to step up and do what he has to do to protect it. So we're so appreciative to have an attorney and a leader that is so willing to stand in the breach and to protect all voters all throughout Georgia.
And we were so grateful when Attorney Griggs and so many others that you're going to hear today joined us in Brunswick to fight for justice for Ahmaud Arbery. And we want you to know that his father, Marcus Arbery, is here and will speak, but he also is here with his new book, Where's Daddy? If you go to your left, you can buy the book and get it autographed by Marcus Arbery. Thank you.
Thank you, Barbara. And there are several other vendors that are here. We encourage you to visit the vendors that are here. If you need to check on your voter registration status, you can go over to our friends at the Georgia Coalition for the People's Agenda. You can check on the status there. You can go over to the Transformative Justice Coalition. You can check on it there. If you're at home and you're watching, you can go to the Rock the Vote link. And when you go to the Rock the Vote link, you'll be able to check on your voting registration status. If you're not registered, you can go to that Rock the Vote link, whatever state you're in throughout the country. What a phenomenal job Rock the Vote has done. But wherever you are throughout the country, you can go to the Rock the Vote link and be able to register to vote. It will meet every qualification for the state that you are registering to vote in, so that you're vote ready this November when it's time to exercise that precious right to vote. So with that, you know, we're talking about we like the way you move. Is that what you were saying, Mr. DJ? Oh, you may have switched it a little bit. Okay, all right. Well, we were liking the way we're moving. But now, you know, DJ Earl Spins is going to spin us and bring us up as we bring on one of the Georgia artists that is just, you know, brother is just knocking it out the park, and y'all, you're going to really enjoy the message that he's about to deliver. Y'all, give it up for J.K. Civic.
Hey, hey, to the left, here we go, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, to the left, to the right, yeah. Love some Michael Jackson. Here we go. What's up, DJ? How's it going, everybody? How we doing out there? There we go, there we go. My name is J.K. Savvy. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm an original Atlanta artist here, signed to a local record label called Love Village Records. We're so happy to be here and be able to perform for you. And we've got some nice, positive, uplifting music for the community, all right? So I have 2 songs for you guys. So this first one that I'm gonna do is more of an introduction to myself. It's called David's Heart. And so it's all about having the heart of David. I think a heart that John Lewis had when he was overcoming the challenges that we all face today. When making good trouble, there are challenges that we come and face every day. And so you walk with God in order to have the strength and the courage to walk in those challenges. So this is all about my declaration and how we all have some semblance of David's heart with us, all right? Hey, and it's real swaggy now. We can stand up, hey, we can move with me, we can groove with me, now clap.
Swap the H and the S.
When you hear this voice coming loud through your television or on the phone or radio, you can tell the mission. I was tripping, how was shooter missing? He fixed my vision, now my aim is the purest with this true religion. I'm spades with the sin, cutting it off. Trump type, poker face, I'm never showing my card. Satan thought he had a win, play the ace of the hearts. I play my God, big joke of the card. I know that God made me with the mission, I'm about grind. I'm in step with the light, and I now shine to the ends of the earth with a pound sign. And I'm a West Coast boy from the South Side, from the Zoo Twins. Atlanta made me. I love Blast, Outkast, Snoop, and Baby. Hey, I design, yeah, I been all of my style. And I'm a West Coast boy. And listen up, it goes 1, 2, 3 to zone 4. I'm coming with the kingdom, and we kicking down the doors when I'm spitting this rhythm. So intentional and pure. And yeah, my name is Jordan, so I'm killer with the flow. It's water, it's dripping out me. The Holy Spirit living in me, I can't live without him. Atlanta made, rep my city proudly. God gave me the style, he made a real southern boy with a West Coast smile. Like the swoop through the breeze, through the LA trees. Hear the cadence, I deliver with ease. UPS, how I pack and ship it. The method is so relentless, like the summer sun in Georgia, how I'm bringing the heat. The beat bang got the speaker knocking. That's how I'm rocking with my G.O.D. You see we locked in. I'm always fighting in the demons just like we boxing. My confidence is justified because I know who got me. Man, I know that God made me with the mission, I'm about grind. I'm in step with the light, and I now shine to the ends of the earth with a pound sign. And I'm a West Coast boy from the South Side, from the Zoo Twins, South Atlanta made me. I love Blast, Outkast, Snoop, and Baby. Yeah, I design, yeah, I bend all of my style. And I'm a West Coast boy from the South Side. I'm from the Swats, never stayed on the block, but I got the heart of David, how I'm slanging the rock, chasing my God, worshiping and writing these stanzas. I get the jigging and victory. You know I'm a dancer, he a South Side boy too. Listen what I told you, come from up outside, brother, you know what we gon' do. Killing Goliath and anyone that oppose him. fighting all the battles so my God get the glory. Story, cause our flesh is similar too. I was chasing after women just like every dude. Just like him, I was a coward when I faced with the truth. Seen the error in my way, so now I'm sticking and moving. I got someone that call me Dada. Reason why I'm trying to live this life great and be a real big papa. Biblical scholar, staying with the agua, walking in step with designer.
I know that God made me,
yeah, with the mission, I'm about grind.
I'm in step with the light and I now shine to the ends of the earth with a pound sign. And I'm a West Coast boy from the South Side, from the Zoo Twins, South Atlanta made me. I love Blast, Outkast, Snoop and Baby. Hey, I design, yeah, I bend all of my style. And I'm a West Coast boy from the South Side. Hey.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Like I said in this song, I'm really Atlanta made. I was born on Cascade Drive. I went to this school, great Georgia State, for years and years. Clap it up for downtown Atlanta. Yes, yes, yes. So this next song is all about winning again. So just in the climate that we have today, we have been taking a lot of losses. There are things that we have learned over this time period that we would have never learned without having gone through those losses. And so the beautiful thing about is learning lessons and going through losses is that we get to go to wins. When we come back together, we reconvene, we figure out, hey, what went wrong? So now we can get it right. And it's all about, after you make the mistakes, after stumbling, after falling down, it's all about getting back up and going for its victory. So this next song is called Winning Again. And it's about how I did it in my life. But I do need some help from you guys on this one, okay? So I'm going to put my W up, and that's going to be your cue. Once I put the W up, I just want you to say, winning again, winning again, winning again. Can you guys do that? Can you guys do that for me? All right, we're going to practice. I like to practice and do some muscle memory. So when these W's go up, I just want y'all to say, winning again, winning again, winning again. Sound good? All right. Okay, okay. One more time. There we go. Go ahead. Yeah. This is another one, too. I think this sounds real Atlanta. You got the trumpet sounding. That's the sound of victory, you know? Yeah, yeah. Listen.
We straight to the top and we never gon' flop. Back from the trenches, we in it again. I got my God on my side, you know we gon' ride. Stay down until the very end. Used to be down, down, down bad. Through my pride, I got humble real quick. Prodigal son is returned, my lesson been learned. We back and we winning again, we winning again.
Y'all turn.
Winning again, winning again, winning again.
Hey, you already got it.
We winning again, winning again, winning again.
Hey.
Winning again, ayy. Prodigal son is returned, our lesson been learned. We back and we winning again.
We started at the bottom first cause we down bad, but I found a way to the top. I was on Drake time, was so far gone, but more life got me non-stop. Sorta like Corday as a lost boy. For more cost, I took more loss, but like Kanye, I got more power from the cross because Jesus walks in that cross. So now I really got purpose. I switched the lane and I changed the game. Now my God is who I be serving. Better check the name, but don't check the fame cause I don't need that, I'm not worthy. But it don't mean that I'm not clean cause I'm fresher than some detergent. Cause my sin is what I'm deterring. So to make it home I'm deterring. And I fight for it like a hockey team, so I still blood on my jersey. And I'm in the field, I ain't scared to fall. Call me Will cause I'm about to boss. In 100 clips, call my demons Ash, catch them. And they finna catch them all. Then I go straight to the top and we never gon' flop. Back from the trenches, we in it again. I got my God on my side, you know we gon' ride. Stay down until the very end. Used to be down, down, down bad. Feeling my pride, I got humble real quick. Prodigal son is returned, my lesson been learned. And we back and we winning again. We winning again.
Y'all turn. Winning again, winning again, winning again.
Y'all turn.
We winning again, winning again, winning again.
Hey, hey.
Winning again, ayy. Prodigal son is returned, our lesson been learned. And we back and we winning again, we winning again.
It's victory. That's what I see when I look at my history. During some moments it really was mystery. Feeling like Scooby when Velma said Jenkins, but now I'm like Rocky. Like Andy said, bro, I feel cocky. Because I'm invincible, based off this principle. When I'm with Jesus, can't nobody stop me. That's why we winning, and I'm off their energy. Me and the spirit, we stepping in synergy. Wasn't sin of my life, was a sinner. Switch up my life, and now Jesus is the centerpiece. Have my heart hardened and fill it with calluses. With 21 folks and they savages. Filling my head with fallacies, money and women. My life would be fabulous. Found out it's not so. I had to break out of the box, bro. Cause I had no riches like writers that count for my body, but I was without love. On my knees, had to get to repentance. Cause the race that I run, I'ma finish. And with God on my side, man, I know He gon' rise. So the battles I face, I be winning. And that's why we go straight to the top, and we never gon' flop. Back from the trenches, we in it again. I got my God on my side, you know we gon' rise. Stay down until the very end. Used to be down, down, down bad. Throwing my pride, I got humble real quick. Prodigal son is returned, my lesson been learned. And we back and we winning again, we winning again. What we doing? Say it louder. One more time. Prodigal son is returned. My lesson been learned. We back and we winning again. We winning again. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to come perform. My name is JK Savvy. You can find me on all social media platforms at JKSVVY. The music is out on Apple Music and Spotify. JK space Savvy. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
There we go.
All right.
Appreciate you, J.K. Savvy.
That was awesome.
Incredible, incredible, incredible. Folks, we want you to remember that, we know how hot it is out here. There are water stations that are here. If you need some water, please get some water. There's a misting tent that's here. If you want to just get some mist on you, that's available. If you need to use a restroom, there are porta pots that are here. Also, if you had a struggle, if you had any problems when you've gone to vote at any point in time in your life, if you've ever had a problem, we have a station that's over here that wants to record what your issue was. Was it a machine that wasn't working? What was it? Did you see something happen in a polling place? Was it a long line that was in place that you had to experience? Anything that would have frustrated you or other people as they were trying to exercise that right to vote. We want to record that. We want to have that present, because what's going to happen is that all across this nation, people are recording similar stories of what has happened, and it's going to be presented to Congress to talk about the importance of protecting our voting rights. So if you have one of those stories to tell, we have a videographer that is here that's going to take the story and have it down and be able to present it. So we want to be certain that we have that in place. But please be certain to stay hydrated out here during this heat. But you know what? I always say to stay hydrated. I always say it's hot outside, but I'm also going to tell you that the next speaker is getting ready to get a little hotter out here in Atlanta, Georgia. Barbara, you want to bring up this hot member of Delta Sigma Theta, please.
My. She is. If you met her, you know she is the lioness of the state legislature, because she is unelected, but she holds the power like we all do. And she is one of the most ferocious fighters for voting rights, not only in Atlanta, not only in Georgia, but nationwide. She has been featured in major national magazines as one of the top voting rights leaders in the country. I am so honored to know this lady. I met her through Smoking Joe Lowry, who introduced me to her, and I am so honored to bring up the most amazing, eloquent, strategic, I'm talking about none other than Helen Butler!
go. Fired up. Ready to go. When we fight. All right then. I am Helen Butler, and thank you, Barbara and Daryl, for this great commemoration of a great civil rights leader. And of course, I'm Helen Butler, Executive Director of the Georgia Coalition for the People's Agenda, as Barbara said, founded by the Dean of the Civil Rights Movement, Dr. Joseph Eccles Lowry. But I am here today to talk about another great leader. You know, Atlanta had all of the civil rights leaders. C.T. Vivian, Andrew Young, John Lewis, Joseph Lowry, Ralph Abernathy, Dr. King, Martin Luther King Jr., all of them, and all of the beautiful ladies as well. But I'm here today to talk about the legacy of Congressman John Lewis. And I'm so happy that I was able to work with them for voting rights. The People's Agenda mission is to improve the quality of governance by having an active, means you got to do something, informed, you got to be educated, electorate that holds its elected officials accountable. Well, you know, one of the great sayings of Congressman Lewis, Barbara, was, if you see something, say something, but more importantly, do something. Well, I'm here today to say, you know what I see in Georgia is high inflation. I see gas that takes about $100 to fill up an SUV, right? I see grocery prices. We bought a case of water today was $12. We understand that healthcare is skyrocketing because we lost access to affordable care, right? I see that a lot of people are unemployed because they talked about DEI is not the way to go, right? Wrong, definitely wrong. But you know what? I'm saying something about those things. But more importantly, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to vote. I'm going to show up at the polls. I'm going to check my status first to make sure I haven't been purged, Barbara, because there have been over 300,000 people that have been challenged about their eligibility to vote, right? So I got to check my status to make sure everything is just right. Then I got to know who's on that ballot. I'm going to go to my voter page and print out my sample ballot. I'm going to mark it, and I'm going to take it with me to the polling locations. You know, my knees hurt so badly, but sometimes I don't feel like driving. But the People's Agenda will offer free rides to the poll. Anywhere in the state of Georgia that you need a ride to the polls, People's Agenda will be there for you. No excuses. Then, you know what, Barbara? I met Barbara because she was the founder of the Election Protection Coalition that really protects that right to vote. So we're going to have poll monitors, people at polling locations that will assist you to make sure you vote and that you're not turned around. We're going to make sure after all the votes are cast, we're going to go observe the counting process at local boards of elections when they do it. So when you talk about voter fraud, which there hasn't been, we're going to make sure that every vote counts. Now listen, we know the post office is trying to stop us from voting, so absentee may be a little difficult, but we're going to get around that too. But we want you to go vote early. What did I say? We're going to vote what? We're going to vote when? We're going to vote when? All right, we're going to vote early. And that is the best way that we can honor Congressman Lewis, is by standing up for what's right. We're going to see something, we're going to say something, but more importantly, we're going to do something. And one actionable item I want you to do before Election Day is mobilize your block. That means you're going to make sure everybody on your block is registered. They know who's on the ballot. They have a sample ballot. And then we're going to help them get to the polls to make sure their vote counts. So go do something to honor Congressman Lewis.
I promised y'all it was going to get a little hotter.
Do something.
And Helen Butler brought it, told y'all to do something.
Do something.
No excuses. No excuses for not voting. The excuse cannot be I couldn't make it to a polling place, as Helen Butler has made clear in the state of Georgia. Wherever you are, they will provide rides to the polls at no cost. You know, oftentimes, Robert, the question is asked, does my vote really matter?
Well,
and it's one of the things we come across, I think, more often than not, where people say, well, they're going to do what they want to do. Or they say, well, you know, it's just one vote. It's not going to make a difference. Well, you know, every vote makes a difference. There are many elections that are won by single-digit votes,
right,
victories. So if you've won, for instance, in the northernmost southern state where I come from, Maryland,
oh, Lord. Yes.
the first African-American elected to Congress from the state of Maryland was Perrin Mitchell.
Yes.
Perrin Mitchell in 1972. And actually, Congressman Mitchell was the first African-American elected below the Mason-Dixon line since Reconstruction. I want you to sit on that for just a moment. So with Congressman Mitchell, once he was elected to Congress, he was able to really achieve great things. But the person we have that's getting ready to come up to speak next, she brings a very real message about voting.
Yes.
Her father, and she's going to tell the story, was one of the people that throughout the South, Alabama, Louisiana, and other areas, that when African Americans were elected for the first time to a position, there would be all kinds of threats that would follow. Her father was one of the people that was assigned to protect those newly elected African Americans throughout the South. She has an additional story that she's going to tell, because we need to have a complete appreciation for the power of your vote, the power of your one vote, and what it means in terms of whether or not ICE is on the street or if ICE is patrolling where they're supposed to patrol. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to bring up to the stage Felicia Murray Jackson. Please give it up for Ms. Jackson.
good afternoon, good morning, good day, wherever you are. I'm Felicia Murray Jackson, the sister to Dr. Linda Davis. And this is Linda's daughter, Ariana Jack. As many of you know, my sister and Ariana's mother was actually killed on February 16th, 2026, when during an ICE enforcement, she was hit and killed. My sister was on her way to work as a teacher. She taught first grade and kindergarten special ed students in a public school. She was driving in a residential community. It was during rush hour traffic where people walk by. You could see when we go out to her roadside area, you see that there are children scootering right in the area she was killed. There are people walking in those areas. And when I think about my sister not being here, her mother not being here, her 5 children now being motherless, her other children, her children love now being without their mother, it just breaks my heart. Because this could be any of us. How many of us drive to work every day? How many of us, our kids go to work? Our kids go to summer camp. Our parents go to church. There's no rhyme or no reason for these enforcement actions that put all of us Americans at risk. When I was growing up, my father worked for the federal government. And in times when they were electing like the first black mayor in a county in Mississippi or Alabama, or they were electing sheriffs and they'd never had diversity before, he would actually attach to the DOJ and he would go down and monitor elections to make sure that brown and black people had the right to vote. And it's so strange to me that we've now used our vote to disenfranchise brown and black people. So I just want to make it clear that is for me and the people that I love, we agree that Mr. Lopez and his family should not be hunted. We don't want them chased in the streets of America. We don't believe that people who are inherently made in the image of God should be treated like animals. We believe that all people, no matter where they come from, should be treated with dignity, humanity, and worth because they're worthy. Thank you all for all of the prayers, for all the love, and for all of the support we've gotten. You know, somebody's out there praying that we're getting extraordinary amounts of kindness because we're seeing it coming true in our lives. So we thank you and we love you. Thank you for continuing to fight for our rights. Thank you for continuing to keep my sister's name, Dr. Linda Davis, on your minds and in your hearts and on your voices in your social media. Thank you for surfacing up her name to your congressmen, your senators, your local officials, because her life matters. Just like the lives of your children, your mothers, your fathers, anybody who leaves their house or even doesn't, has the right to come home safely. And thank you for lifting up the family of Oscar Vasquez Lopez. Because I'm just convinced, and it might be my own personal conviction, that when that man left his house that morning to drive to his job, he did not plan on being chased. He did not plan on being involved in something that eventually was a part of my sister's death. So please pray for him. Lift him up as you continue to pray for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Everyone, think about this. One of the tactics that this administration has used is racial division. And they have told people that your enemy is your neighbor. Your enemy is someone who is your co-worker. They have said that if you're not an immigrant, that you are all right. But that's a lie, because all of us, every single one of us, is in danger when any one of us is in danger. They want to tell you that if you're black, you're not going to ever encounter ICE. That's a lie. We just heard it. Dr. Linda Davis, we've seen it all over the country. We know Haitians and many other people have been affected by this. They tell you that if you're white, that you're somehow unaffected. But then we look at Renee Good. We look at Alex Preddy, and we know that that's not true. So, folks, if you had any doubt that this is all of our fight, then please reconsider and tell your neighbors that they need to know the name of Dr. Linda Davis. So, with that in mind, watch out. We got a speaker. Oh my goodness. Get ready, get ready. She hails from the mighty state of Florida. She has been an amazing leader, one of the most creative leaders. She created Black Youth Vote. She created the Black Women's Roundtable. She created the national and worked for the National Coalition for Black Civic Participation. She is one of those voices that you've seen on national TV, that you've heard discussing the fight for our voting rights. You know that this is yet another amazing person who has come here to Atlanta to honor the legacy of John Lewis. I'm talking about none other than Melanie Campbell!
The silence is a quiet.
How you doing? How you doing, Atlanta? Now, anybody outside of Georgia here or outside of the metro Atlanta here? Everybody in Atlanta? Well, first of all, I want to thank Barbara Armwine and her team and her transformative justice and Brother Jones for their leadership, for their tenacity. I actually, she said Florida, but I spent a good 20 years working for the late Maynard Jackson during the early 90s. So I was a child prodigy. And have finished Clark College, now Clark Atlanta University. And we have a social justice institute over at the institute. The other part of connecting me to Atlanta is Helen Butler, who's our leader. The Georgia Coalition for the People's Agenda is our affiliate for our national office. So let's give Helen a round of thank you. And so when we started this, what I say is the 21st century voting rights movement, we know that Congressman John Lewis gave us the roadmap. And that roadmap has to do with this is a journey and a fight that won't be corrected overnight. It also lets us know that when we say good trouble, this is good trouble. Say good trouble. We're going to stay in good trouble. The other reality is, how many people watched the orange guy the other night? I'm nonpartisan. Barbara going to keep me out of jail. Did you watch it? Or did you watch the clips afterwards? So we already know what's getting ready to happen. So the question when we talk about what we're going to do about it is, you saw what happened in Fulton County, right, when they went for the ballots. So we know we got to be in good trouble when voting starts. You know, I didn't come by to do a big rallying speech. I want to talk to y'all about what are we going to do. How do we stop what happened when they showed us what they were going to do when they took those ballots outside of the Fulton County Board of Election? What is our good trouble going to be? Well, I tell you what we can't do is think that we're going to wait for a party to figure it out. It's going to take we the people. Say it with me, we the people. This is our country. We built it, and we're not going nowhere. We're going to export some bad stuff one of these days, or they're going to run. And the only way they're going to run out of town is that we stand up, and that we fight back, and that we organize ourselves. And that's this line here, y'all the front line. You understand? Because you're in this heat. And those out here, y'all the front line. Tell your neighbor, you the front line. And say, I'm ready for the fight. We're going to win this battle because we're going to win it united. And black and white and young and old and Jew and Gentile and Muslim and Christian and those who don't believe. But I believe. And I'll close with this. I know that the God I serve, he didn't leave us wanting. And he gave us the faith and belief in all we need. Everybody here, we organize ourselves. We're the front line when they come to try to take our ballots. We are the leaders we're looking for. Thank you. God bless you. Peace and power.
All right. We're going to keep rolling. Let me tell you. You know, one of the things that I hope you've been able to see is that throughout this programming, you're not just going to see some of the seasoned people that have been in the struggle for voting rights, but you're going to see a lot of Gen Zs that are coming through. And we do that intentionally because we know that the Gen Zs have to be handed the baton. They have to be given the support. We've got to pour into them, invest in them, and have them believe the power of their vote. I get so frustrated, both Barbara and I, when we travel around the country and we hear people say that young people don't vote, that young people don't care, that young people are too busy doing other things than to be involved politically. I can assure you that that is unequivocally false. I can assure you that we've got to lift up and celebrate what our young folk are doing. You know, the whole George Floyd movement was sparked by young people. There were young people that were in those streets. People tend to forget there were young people that were in the streets pushing for the Justice and Policing Act. When the Confederate statutes were being removed, there were young people that were pushing that forward as they were achieving those goals. When the administration wasn't responding to environmental threats that were here, there were young people that were pushing for environmental changes and were successfully doing so. When gun violence struck in Florida, it was young people that said, we're going to march for our lives, and we're able to push forward with gun control reform. We need to be certain that we celebrate the victories of our young folks and that we encourage them to continue in the fight to protect the democracy and to protect the issues that are concerning to them. It's our pleasure to bring up one of these Gen Zs who's going to perform artistically some of the things that he has experienced. And let me tell you, the brother hails from Belize with his parents who were immigrants, and you're going to hear all about it. But, you know, rather than listening to me talk about it, let me bring the Gen Z on up. One Love, come on up here, brother. Come on up here, One Love.
Check. Peace and love, everybody. Peace and love. My name is One Love. I am the founder and CEO of Love Village Records. We are an indie label based here in Atlanta, we strive on creating positive, uplifting music for the people that need it the most. They said that if you can't find anything that you want to hear, then to create it yourself. So that's what we did. So we strive on being the change that we wanted to see. Earlier, we had one of our good brothers and another label mate of mine, J.K. Savvy, come on early. You guys enjoy that? All right. Well, they said the boss man had to come and give y'all some flavor today. Can I do that? All right. Before we start, you know, I got to check the soil because we only produce fruit in Love Village Records. So with that being said, I'm going to go neighbor, and you guys go neighbor. It's love here. Neighbor, it's love here. Okay. The soil seems right. Soil seems right. So I'm going to go like this. When I say one, you say love. One. When I say love, you say village. Love. When I say good, you say trouble. Good. Oh, let's do it.
I think we ain't done yet.
You personally?
I think we ain't done yet.
Can I rap for y'all today? This is another Love Village production. Yeah. Shout out K Jungle on the beat. Clap. Support one love. Clap. I'm in my backpack. Good slap. Yeah. I ain't into the back and forth, you can take that to court. Young Jedi, proficient with the force. You been losing in the game, homie, shake the score. It's the fourth, you down 23 splits with the white Henny. You love snow, taking trips with Jenny. Same Jenny from the block, so your nose stay runny. So many whites on the nose, looking like young thuggies. I ain't no dummy, money coming cases like lummies. While your homies catching cases like dummies. I would've laughed, seeing the system win just ain't ever funny. We at war. We at war. From gun straps, booby traps, money sacks, and the demons getting paid off of all of that. We at war. They getting paid. The hood got 5 more years on its sentence. The hood got more beef than lettuce. They got our music sounding like a death fetish. That's hot, dog. They still relish, embellish truth. They don't tell it. Constant death and sex, they will sell it. And we go buy it. Cause our minds been frying 5 G's just to take you out. Asian fried wings just to clog you up. Government schemes so the babies don't grow. Slaving on your job even after you old. It's no soul. It's no spirit. Try to open them to the truth, they don't hear it. This sound like Jesus came back today, so don't fear it. Getting extra close to the sun, I'm too near it. Why? I'm at war. Let's go. Go one love, go. Okay, go Love Village, go. Okay, go good trouble, go. Okay, go John Lewis, go. Hey man, y'all make some noise for yourself, man. Okay. Oh, for this next and last track, I made a song called Immigrants. That's an ode and an honor to my parents. If you come from immigrant parents like I do, first generation, second generation, third generation, whether you from Europe, the Caribbean, or the Hispanic Isles, this song is for you. Let's do it.
Would you be a musician if nobody ever heard you?
Sure.
Why?
Because I love music. It's in my head. I can't get it out.
Hey, listen.
And if you rocking with me and the team, we are Love Village Records. You can find us on all social media. Yeah. If you standing up, can you bounce with me? 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Bounce. Okay, my parents was some immigrants, and it's still lit, and we still here, and it's no fear. My parents was some immigrants, and it's still lit, and we still here, and it's no okay. The land of the free, you can be what you can be. If you wanna taste the dream, you just gotta taste the dream. It's the land of the free. You can be what you can be. If you wanna taste the dream, you just gotta taste the dream. I've been working on my thing, it's like something that you ain't seen. It's a brand, it's a team, it's a family with a dream. I ain't never want no bling or to be on TV screen. I just had to take a peek at what they had behind the scenes. They call that background, but I'm in the front now. No, we will not back down. Like I'm G-Ma Hunsu. If you wanna stay proud, they might want to hunt you. You see what the guns do, you see what the drugs do. I just do this for my mama who was always watching drama, but this is not reality. Even if it's on TV, I do it for I can't breathe. I do it for G.O.D. The politics and politics will never corrupt. Okay, my parents was some immigrants, and it's still live, and we still here. And it's no okay, my parents was some immigrants, and it's still live, and we still here. Okay, it's no okay, the land of the free. You can be what you can be. If you wanna taste the dream, you just gotta taste the dream. Okay, the land of the free. You can be what you can be. If you wanna taste the dream, you just gotta taste the dream. Okay. It's the land of the free. You can be what you can be. If you wanna taste the dream, you. Okay, my parents was some immigrants, and it's still live, and we still here. And it's okay, my parents was some immigrants, and it's still live, and we still here, and it's no fear. My name is One Love. You can find me on social media at Love Village Records. You can find all of our talented artists that's making a difference, that's bringing you spiritual fruit, physical fruit. We just want to be the change that we want to see. So follow Love Village Records to find me and all of our talented artists. Shout out Good Trouble Lives On. Shout out my brother AJ Commissary Jr. for bringing us out tonight and today. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And keep being the change you want to see.
Well, you leave the mic, leave the mic. That's your mic.
Oh, that's my mic.
One love, y'all. I told you that we were going to mix it up. You're going to see Gen Z with whatever we are. But you're going to see it all represented. And I tell you, listen to One Love and that immigrant song. We know it's got to run all over this country. It's just too powerful for it not to. But I had to also bring in the James Brown moment and bring him his jacket, so we could connect. We could Gen Z and whatever generation I might be. So it's our pleasure now to bring someone else up. My goodness, you're talking about a connection all across this country, Barbara. Go ahead, Barbara. I don't even know the words.
Come on. Oh, my mic is dead. Okay, hold on. All right, everybody, all right. Now, when you thought you were coming here, you knew you were going to hear some speeches, right? But you didn't know you were going to hear the music like it's been turning it out. What an incredible day. So let's now bring up one of the spirits. Her leadership has transformed our struggle. When you think of joy at marches, joy and love
can barely hold a note. I can't even do that, really. But she is just so powerful. And then I found out about all the organizing she was doing in Alabama. Then I found out about all the organizing she was now doing internationally with black girls. When I found out that she had founded one of the most powerful voting rights, democracy, new imagining what we gotta be in the future organizations, I said, God, come on, let's raise some fluff for Latasha
Brown! Come on here, Melanie Campbell. Hey, y'all. When I say black voters, you say matter. Black voters. Black voters. When I say love, you say power. Love. Listen, y'all, I wanted to come today as I'm looking at the people that are out here. There are a couple of things that struck out to me. And I want you all, as you all are in your seats, I want you all to participate in an exercise with me. If that's okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to close your eyes. I do this everywhere I go. I want you to close your eyes. Wherever you are, I want you to close your eyes, clear your mind, and I want to ask you 2 questions. My first question to you is, what would this nation look like without racism? What would America look like without racism? The second question, what would this nation look like if all of God's people felt valued and respected? You ain't got to like them. You ain't got to agree with them. You ain't got to get along with them. Just respect it, that their humanity is valued and respected. Now, open your eyes. Now, I'm going to ask you this question. You all can yell it from out there. Somebody tell me something that was created that wasn't first envisioned. Nothing. There's nothing that has ever been created that wasn't first envisioned. This is the reason why I ask you all those 2 questions. The first question I ask and the second question is because if we are not imagining a new world and a new America, we will never get there. That it is up to us to imagine something greater, an America that has a place for all of us, whether we agree or not. Whether we're Democrat, Republican, Independent, Libertarian, whether we make up a party, our humanity should not be contingent upon what political party is in office. Our humanity should not be contingent based on who believes folks should be able to vote or not. That's a trick. It is a trick to undermine our humanity. And so I'm saying this because sometimes we get caught up in what is legal and what's the laws. Let me say what was legal. Slavery used to be legal. The oppression of women used to be legal. 10-year-old children working in factories was legal. If it does not serve our humanity, it is not valid. And that means that we, the people, have something to do. So all of y'all that are out there, it doesn't matter if you're 5 of you, if it's 50 of you, there's enough, or 5,000 of us. There's a couple of things we got to do. The first thing we got to do is we got to block. Say block. Block. We have to block what is happening right now. This is not a moment for cynicism. This is not a moment for us to say, well, my vote doesn't count. This is not a popularity contest. At this moment, we are at war, as our brother said. And when we are at war, we cannot leave any tool on the table. The bottom line is our children are vulnerable right now. We are seeing people rack up millions and billions of dollars right now where our children, many of our children in the state of Mississippi, 99% of the children, white and black and Hispanic, Latinos and Asians, 99% of the children are on free and reduced lunch. They're cutting the lunch program. That is not acceptable. We are spending billions on war.
as if we're playing games with people's lives right now. That is not acceptable. We are seeing right now that our hard money that we've worked for is being used to actually fund the coffers of those that seek to actually destroy us and diminish our voice. That is not acceptable. But they are not moving the same, and we cannot either. It is not going to be enough, y'all, for us to come to a rally and you leave the same way you came. It is not going to be enough for us to be in a space and we just vote and that's enough. No, in this moment, you got to be a multiplier. Every one of you out there, you got to be responsible. You got to see yourselves as personally responsible for at least 100 people. I didn't say 5, I didn't say 10, I said 100. 100. And all that is, if you got 10 people that touch 10 people, how much is that? That's your 100 right there. That means that you have to find 10 organizers that will organize 10 other people. And I'm not just talking and I'm not just bringing up numbers right now. What I am saying is we are at war. But the good news is that the people are the power in this nation if we actually wake up and realize that. Every single person in here, every one of y'all that are sitting here, you've got influence. You've got influence in your churches, in your community groups, in your go out club scene, in your civic engagement, all of the spaces. This is not the moment that you can afford just to be a voter. I'm not going to come up here and talk to y'all about voting because I already know that y'all are voting. That's why you all are here. What I'm coming here is I'm coming here to affirm that you are deputized as the visionary of the America, the next America that we desire, we deserve. You can no longer continue to act like a citizen of a rogue nation that is doing everything in its power to disempower its own people. You have to be the architects of the new America, the America that we desire and that we deserve. The America that has enough space for all of us. The America that actually understands that our greatest resource is not a dollar bill. Our greatest resource is humanity. It's each and every one of our children. We got to deserve an America that we have the freedom to worship or not worship. We have the freedom to be Christian or Muslim or Hindu or don't worship at all. We have that freedom because our humanity gives us that right. It is not just about what the Constitution says. I was born in this world not knowing that a constitution existed. Because my personage, my spirit, who I am, that is the most important thing. And when you unlock that your power, you were born with it. That all of y'all out here, I'll stop with saying this. That do you know at the point, and even the children in here should know this, that at the point of conception, there are hundreds of millions of sperm cells trying to make it to one egg. Millions of them are not strong enough to make the journey. Hundreds of millions of them don't know where to go. They can't find the fallopian tubes. They don't even know which way to go. They ain't smart enough to get there. Millions of them are actually caught up and in confusion and can't find it. And when they reach the egg, and it's actually only like a couple of 100,000 that reach the egg accepts only one. So I need you to understand why I'm saying this story. Every single human being that you see, each and every one of you, at some point, I don't care what this world has tried to make you believe, but your very presence means that you are the smartest, you have been the fastest, you have been the strongest, you have been the most strategic, and you were selected. And so you have to understand the power and who you are as a person and the power in other people that you see as a person. Don't let anybody tell you that there's anything that is more precious than human life. And you got to fight like hell to make sure that human life, not your own life, but that we are stewards for each other. Because the good news, y'all, is we can win. I know that we can win. It will take us blocking.
It will take us building something different. But the most important key, and I'll leave on this, is belief. What do you believe? I want you to look at the miracle that's sitting next to you. Just turn around and look. Every single person in here made it through hundreds of millions of chances. Just one other, you would have been somebody different. You would have been your sister or your brother. But you are you because there's something special and divine in who you are. How dare we allow other people to teach us or to try to make us believe something differently? We will not have that, will we, y'all? No, we are human, and no matter what you do, whether you live on the street, whether you work in the White House, you have value. Do you have value? Do other people that we understand that humanity has value? Will you fight for it? Will you fight for it? Will you fight for it? When I say love, you say power. Love. Love. When I say power, you say love. Power. Power. Black lives. Black votes. All God's people. Amen. Thank you. Bless you, y'all.
Latasha Brown, y'all. Black voters matter. They matter. And we need to be certain that everyone remembers that black voters matter. The next person we wanted to bring up to speak is a black voter who matters. He's a black representative from the state of Georgia that matters. He's one of the people that when you heard me say earlier that when Georgia decided it was going to redistrict, he was one of the people that said, not on my clock, not on my watch, not while I'm here, not while I have strength in my body to push back and tell you no. He's in the community, he's all over the state, he's fighting hard in the State House for the district he represents and for all folks in the state of Georgia. Y'all give it up for Georgia State Representative out of 56th District, Representative Bryce Berry.
Good to see you. Good afternoon, y'all. First, thank you to the great sponsors and organizers of this event. Thank you, Daryl. Today's a testament to the necessity of community in this moment. Organizers, activists, community members, and lovers of justice have come together because we know something to be true, that this democracy belongs to all of us. And more importantly, the work of democracy will take all of us. Now, I don't want to be one to tell y'all that democracy is fragile. We've all heard it. Some would even argue that democracy is broken. But I rebuke that. I refuse to believe that democracy is broken. I refuse to believe that we are no longer capable of making democracy a reality for every single person in this country. Events like today remind me that there are still people willing to fight, willing to organize, and willing to believe. But before we can say democracy is fragile, we first have to define what we mean by democracy. Because democracy is about far more than casting a ballot, as important as that is. But democracy means that our vote leads to substantive changes that voters demand. Democracy means that a billionaire doesn't pay a lower tax rate than the teacher educating our children. Democracy means that when you break your arm, you don't have to worry about the hospital bill crippling your family's future. Democracy means that when a child walks into a public school, that their parents can trust that they receive the same quality of education as a child living 5 miles away. And democracy means that when working families put food on the table, they don't have to wonder whether they have enough left over for rent. And yes, democracy means electing leaders who actually believe in those principles. Democracy does not mean we ask for change, elect leaders who fight for change, and then we watch them take us backwards. Democracy means that when we elect leaders, they should be pushing us forward. And when those leaders refuse to push us forward, we have the power and the authority to push them out. So when we ask me what democracy is, my answer is simple.
Democracy is our power. It is your power to create the kind of community, the kind of state, and the kind of country that we deserve. My friends, we are faced with forces, far-right forces, that simply do not share that vision. They don't see it as a problem when a teacher has to work multiple jobs just to make ends meet. They don't see it as a problem when families struggle to afford diapers and groceries and the basic necessities of life. They don't see it as a problem when women die during childbirth because of the maternal mortality crisis that they created. And because they do not see those things as a problem, they refuse to act. So what did I say earlier? When leaders refuse to act, democracy gives us the power and the responsibility to replace them, because democracy is power. But it's not power for power's sake. It is power for the powerless. Unfortunately, there are some who see power differently. They see power as protecting themselves, about protecting their political careers, about protecting those who already have the most. But they see power as drawing maps to protect politicians instead of empowering people. That is what the essence of Calais was. Calais was not just one lawsuit, it was the culmination of a strategy that has been unfolding for decades. It was the result of a long game designed to make it harder for communities to choose their representatives and easier for representatives to choose their communities. But hear me when I say this. Calais cannot become the end of our story. It cannot become the final chapter. They may have won a round, but they may have hit the grand slam, but the game is not over. Because you can redraw a district, but you cannot redraw the conscience of a people. You can manipulate maps, but you cannot permanently manipulate a movement. And you can delay justice, but you cannot permanently delay justice for people that have decided that justice is worth fighting for. That has always been the story of Georgia. And yes, that's been the story of America too. Every generation has been confronted with a choice. There have always been people who wanted democracy to become smaller, but we have people right here that want democracy to become bigger. There have often people who believe that freedom belongs to a select few, and then there's us who believe that freedom belongs to all of us. And thank God that every generation has produced ordinary people like John Lewis, who we honor this weekend, who chose to expand the promise of this nation rather than shrink it. That is why I refuse to be discouraged, and that's why you must refuse to be discouraged as well. Because I know who came before us. People who marched when it was dangerous. People who organized when they were threatened. People who registered voters when doing so could cost them their jobs and even their lives. They did not fight because victory was guaranteed. They fought because justice demanded it. And now it is your turn. It is our turn. Our responsibility to not simply mourn what happened in Calais, but to ensure that we organize beyond Calais. That means showing up in communities that have been ignored. It means talking to neighbors instead of talking past them. It means registering voters, mentoring young people, holding elected officials, myself included, accountable, serving our communities long before and long after Election Day. Because democracy is not something that we practice every 2 to 4 years. Democracy is something that we practice every single day. It is practiced when a parent speaks up at a school board meeting. It is practiced when a young person decides that their voice matters. It is practiced when neighbors refuse to accept that poverty, violence, or injustice are simply inevitable. That is democracy. And let me leave you with this. Our future has already been written. We must reject the idea that cynicism is wisdom. We must reject the idea that hope is naive. Hope is not naive. Hope is a strategy. Hope is waking up every morning believing that ordinary people like you and me working together can accomplish extraordinary things. The people who changed this country before us were not superheroes. They were teachers. They were students. They were ministers. They were workers. They were mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers. They were ordinary people who simply refused to accept that things had to stay the way they were. And now it is our generation's turn. Are we the ones who will leave our children a democracy that is smaller than the one we inherited? Will we build the democracy we have always promised for them? A democracy where every child receives an excellent education, where healthcare is a right, where housing is affordable, wages are livable, and every person can retire with dignity. A democracy where every vote carries the same weight, where every community knows that they belong. A democracy that is worth fighting for, not because it protects a political party, not because it benefits one politician, but because it benefits the people. And at the end of the day, democracy has never been about protecting politicians. It's always been about protecting the people. So let Calais serve as a reminder, not that democracy is dead, but that democracy demands something from each of us. It demands courage, it demands sacrifice, it demands persistence, and above all, it demands faith. Faith that justice is stronger than injustice. Faith that truth is stronger than fear. Faith that organized people will always outlast organized money. And so leave here today not discouraged, but determined. Determined to knock one more door, to register one more voter, to mentor one more young person, to encourage one more neighbor, to remind one more person that their voice still matters. Because history has never been written by those who merely held power. History has always been written by those ordinary people who believe that tomorrow will be better than today. And if we remain faithful to that work, if we organize, if we vote, if we build, if we refuse to give up, then one day our children will look back on this moment not as the beginning of democracy's decline, but as the moment that the new generation stepped up, linked arms, and decided that the promise of America was too precious to surrender. May we be that generation. Thank you all. May God bless you. God bless this great state. And God bless our democracy.
I'm just grooving in the music right now for a moment. Let me tell you, Representative Barry, y'all people watch out for this brother. He's going to be pushing it. Strong voice of our future. We're in good hands with representatives like that with such a worldly view, the value of everybody. I promised you that this would be a program that you see young people well represented and that it would be well integrated. And I'm not going to call him a Gen Z because he's not a Gen Z. I'm not going to call him a millennial because I don't know. I'm not even going to refer to, I guess I should stop right there because I'm about to get in trouble. But I can tell you he's a good friend. And I can tell you that when Barbara and Arnwine and I call on the National Coalition of Black Lawyers, that without question, they show up. Whether we're in Georgia, whether we're in Texas, whether we're in Florida, if we're in Mississippi, we make a phone call to a representative who is all over the state of Georgia, an attorney who believes in standing up for the little person, for the one who has their rights trampled upon. It's a consistency that's in his person. I enjoy him, and there are things I love to say about Brother Davis, but one of the things I enjoy most, and I believe Barbara enjoys most about Brother Davis, is that when we get together in person, we always have an opportunity to talk about the new books that we're reading and the new strategies that we're employing. Y'all give it up for the representative from the National Coalition of Black Lawyers. Give it up for the founder and president of the Black Men's Lab here in the state of Georgia, in Atlanta, our friend, one of our attorneys, Mawuli Davis.
Power to the people! Power to the people! Power to the people! Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here to represent NCBL, the National Conference of Black Lawyers. I stand here on behalf of my national co-chair, Whitley Carpenter. I stand here on behalf of our members and our chapters across this country. This organization, founded in 1968, after the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., after the targeting of the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Army, this organization, founded by black lawyers for black people, we stand now in 2026 with our brothers and our sisters from Transformative Justice Coalition, from Black Voters Matter, from Malcolm X Grassroots Movement, from any organization committed to the liberation of our people. Y'all all right with that? So what happened in 1968, so we're clear, was that there was an ongoing attack, an onslaught on black people struggling for freedom. And some of y'all may think that they were just going after the so-called radicals. Some of y'all may think they were just going after the Black Panther Party. Some of y'all may think they were just going after Angela Davis and Kathleen Cleaver. But no, they were going after the folks who they named the street after right over here, Martin Luther King Jr. They were going after the young people of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. And when I say they, it's the same forces that are coming after us today. It's the same forces that have turned ICE and turned the Justice Department into weapons of mass destruction against black, brown, and poor people. And those folks is the federal government, y'all. And that's real talk. So the FBI targeted Dr. King, targeted our movement, civil rights movement, Black Power movement, New African movement, whatever movement there was, they were trying to stop that movement. But here we are. Here we stand. Unbroken, unbowed, fighting for this next generation. So I'm excited to see my students from Clark Atlanta University representing. I'm excited to know that they've been moved in a way that they wouldn't just come to class on campus in the Atlanta University Center, but they would continue to come to class out here. When Barbara Ironwine and Daryl Junk, when they called, this is class, y'all. They called us to class to learn about what our role is supposed to be in a moment such as this. How do you remember John Lewis with your life and your living? How do you remember that legacy? And the only way is I have to think of another Student Nonviolent Coordinating co-chair, because y'all remember now, he didn't start as a congressman, he started as an organizer. He started at the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee in Nashville, and then he grew from there. But there was also another co-chair. He went by Stokely Carmichael and became Kwame Ture, and what he told us was organize, organize, organize. That's our call, y'all. In this moment, when they are organizing against us, when they are using every apparatus of the government against us, we still will win. Because we're on the right side of history. Because we are the people, the real people, not the elites, not the folks that think that they can control everything. We're the people. It reminds me, not too far from here, of a young boy who was in a school who had walked with his mama and sibling from a long way up from Dalton, Georgia. And they walked here after they were released from being enslaved. And when they walked here, they went into a boxcar. I want y'all to, can you see the boxcar, y'all? We want you to use your imagination. I want you to see this train boxcar that these children were being taught in after they were released from enslavement. And in that boxcar, there was a young Richard Wright Sr. And young Richard Wright Sr. was in that boxcar, and a general, a Union general by the name of Howard, who Howard University is named after, asked him a question. He asked him, Sister Barbara, what should we tell the folks up north about what's happening in this dirty South? He didn't actually say it like that, but y'all know this is the dirty South. He asked him, what should we tell them? And this 11 or 12-year-old boy that he didn't know his age, he stood up and he said, sir, tell them we are rising. Tell them
we are rising. That young 11-year-old boy went on to Atlanta University to graduate valedictorian. That young 11-year-old boy went on to found what is now Savannah State University. That 11-year-old boy went on to Philadelphia to start Freedom Day. That 11-year-old boy went on to open up a bank. So when he said, tell them we are rising, it was in his spirit. And so I want y'all today to walk away from here with the spirit that we are rising, that no matter how they've come against us, no matter how they're attempting to roll us, tell them we are rising. I finish with this. My mother, Marietta Davis, who grew up on the south side of Chicago in a housing project called Racine Court, moved to Atlanta about, what was it, Red? About 10, 12 years ago. And when she got to Atlanta, you know the power of black women, and you have seen it on display today. But my mother at the time was 78 years old, and she did something that I was not expecting, y'all. She started acting in plays. She just started acting. And so she was rehearsing for the play, and it was time for the play to be shown and produced. And she told me, son, we've rehearsed for months. Now the show must go on, and all I need you to do is buy this ticket. I said, oh, no problem. So I, of course, forgot. As I was preparing for my next trial, I forgot. And my mom called me and said, did you get your ticket? And I said, nah, I'm sorry, Ma, I didn't get the ticket. She said, okay, get it tomorrow, sweetheart. Real sweet, real sweet. The next day, she calls me up, asks me the question, son, did you get your ticket? And of course, I'd forgotten. I said, Ma, I'm sorry, I forgot. She said, now it's a little sterner now. She said, get your ticket. I said, okay. So the next day, this 3 days in a row, y'all know how this, you know where this is headed. The third day, she says, son, did you get your ticket? I said, well, Ma, and then she hung up the phone. And when your mama hang up on you, you know you done went left with it. And so the very next day she called, and you know what she said? I got your ticket. Now all I need you to do is show up. She said, I bought it. I want y'all to think about this moment that we're in, that somebody bought, purchased, and paid for our ticket to be here, to stand on this stage, to be in this parking lot, to be in this moment, that someone paid for it. When I think about who paid for our ticket to be here, I think about John Lewis. I think about Fannie Lou Hamer. I think about Ella Baker. I think about Medgar Evers. I think about Coretta Scott King. I think about Martin Luther King. I think about Betty Shabazz and Malcolm X and all those ancestors who paid with blood, sweat, and tears for us to be able to stand here and say without equivocation, power to the people, power to the people, power to the people.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard it from one of America's best. And I say that, let me tell you, he's the divine non-family member of Kappa Alpha Psi. He's one of my favorite Kappas. He's one of my favorite people. He's one of my favorite attorneys with Mavuli Davis. He's just out there, y'all. He's in the fight, and he really means it. We want to bring up our next speaker. Barbara, you want to bring up our next speaker? Because we got all communities covered here.
Yes. Most people don't know
that 1 out of every 5 Americans has a disability. And people don't realize that Curtis Yarvin and all of these tech bros who follow him, Steve Bannon, Elon Musk, yeah, I know, Peter Thiel, J.D. Vance, that one of their fundamental beliefs is that they have an absolute hatred, it appears, for people who have disabilities. And we're seeing it seeping into the legal decisions by courts, where they're now turning their back on Section 208 of the Voting Rights Act that assures protections for people with disabilities. Folks, this battle is broad. This battle is ugly, but the beauty is that we got some hell of fighters. And you've heard from a lot of them today, and that's why you're here, because you're one of them. But I want to bring up somebody who has been redefining disability rights. She's been redefining the scope and the way in which African Americans who are disabled are treated. She's been working on the policy front. She is one of our hidden sheroes. I'm talking about Dara Bowen!
Woo! Woo, woo, woo! All right now. Gotta have joy. That's right, baby. You ain't taking our joy. Thank you, DJ. Thank you. Thank you, Barbara. And thank you to everyone out here. Peace and blessings. My name is Dara Baldwin, and I hail from Washington, D.C. D.C. Stay hood. D.C. Stay hood. D.C. Stay hood. And free D.C. Why? Because we now have 5,000 armed troops in Washington, D.C. Let that sit with you. And on June 16th, the week of that man's birthday, where there were white nationalists in our city for a stupid fight, we also celebrated Juneteenth that week. But also D.C. had its first primary for a new mayor in over 12 years. And I want to let you know I'm a proud member of Free DC's advisory board and one of the founding members. And we were out there protecting our polls and our distribution centers where absentee ballots had to go in. Why? Because we are the first place in the United States that had to vote with armed soldiers around those places. And in November, we will be doing the same. And this does cover disabilities, because if you are a person with a disability, you usually use absentee ballot. You usually want to roll up and have your ballot brought out to you outside, right? In your wheelchair, on your walker. DC has some of the best voting rights in the country because of this. But we have armed soldiers. And when I say armed, they have rifles and 9mm guns on their hips. They were in sections of 6 and 10 at the ballots and at the polls. So I want that to sink into you. So those of you out here who have the right to vote, because we are not a state, so our vote really doesn't count, but we go out and vote anyway because we do have to have a mayor and a city council. So I just wanted to say that. And let me say it again. 5,000 armed troops, and there are more coming. And if your governor is sending them to DC, you need to tell them to bring them home and stop sending them to these places. All right, now let me talk to you about the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. It is July, and it is what? Disability Pride Month. So when I say disability, you say pride. Disability. 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 My sister here is right. It is a horrible, horrible time for disabled people in this country, for this administration. They just recently, on June 18th, reneged a memo from the Department of Justice to say that people with disabilities can be institutionalized. And if you know anything about the ADA, it is not about sidewalks and ramps. It is a civil right. 1990, so you understand and know, July 26th, it'll be the 36th anniversary. This is the first time that disabled people had the right to vote. Let that sink in. Not till 1990. So when white women celebrate, oh, women got the right to vote, that's not true. Only white women got the right to vote. Black women did not, indigenous women did not, other brown women did not, and disabled women did not. Not until 1990. And if you know anything about voting, if you are in an institution, it is up to the executive director or the person who runs the institution if they allow people to vote. Did you hear what I said? So if you're in an institution, you don't have the choice. They don't even do absentee ballot. It's up to the director. People with disabilities are the last to be thought of. Many people who fight for this think about access, as I said, getting to the polls. That is a problem. You need to make sure your polls are accessible. But voter suppression of this community is high. And especially now with this administration who hates disabled people. I'm gonna say that. I don't like to use the word hate, but it is hateful what they are doing to this community. And I say this community because I'm not one yet, but you live long enough, you're gonna have a disability. Let me be clear to you. So the other part too that people don't know is that if you are committed or have a mental health diagnosis, or if you have someone who is your guardian and over your life, you are not allowed to vote in about 27 states in this country. Let me say that again. If you have a mental health diagnosis and are committed into an institution, and even if you aren't, but it's there on the books, and if you have a severe, developmental disability, there are states that say you do not have the right to vote. So this is stopping many people from voting, especially, who do you think those people look like? Me, black and brown folks at a higher level are institutionalized across this country. I will say the memo that was pulled from a Supreme Court case called Olmstead v. Lois Curtis. Do not forget her name. Lois Curtis is a black woman. Guess where she's from? Right here, the Peach State. She was a Georgia Peach, God rest her soul. And she fought to get out of an institution and use the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act. And that rule was pulled and said, what that said was, you can't institutionalize me if I don't want to be institutionalized. And so you have to let people out. States have to get people out. And we were winning across the country, but now this administration has said, you don't have to do that, states. You can keep those people in institutions. And what does that do? It brings down the number, of people who can vote, of people who can live in the public. So I just want you to understand and know that. And I am so grateful and thankful to Transformative Justice Coalition, Black Voters Matter, the Black Women's Roundtable, Rainbow Coalition, God rest his soul, Jesse Jackson, who had a disability. And he worked on this towards the beginning of his life, all the time, but especially towards the end of his life. Even John Lewis, thank God for him. When the Americans with Disabilities Act was signed, he was right there. He always pushed to make sure disabled folks were voting, make sure that they had the access. He set up these processes. We talked about election protection. 866 Our Vote is accessible. It is fully accessible, yes, because we worked on that with Barbara. But understand and know, when you're out here fighting, we all fight for everybody. Black and brown disabled and indigenous disabled people are harmed at a higher rate, and their ability to vote has been decimated in this administration. But we will not allow that to happen. So Thank you for coming out. Thank you for listening to me. I have to do one plug. I am now an author. I wrote a book, so please go out there and read it. To be a problem, to be a problem, to be a problem. That comes from W.E. Du Bois when he came down here to the South to talk to y'all about racism. Y'all call him a problem. That's what I am to the disability rights community. I am a problem. I love being a problem. It's part of causing good trouble. And we are going to make sure disabled people are always included, not only in voting, but also running for office. They have the right to run for office, and that also is being denied to them. Let us do better in this work. Let us know that, as Latasha Brown said earlier, we are what? Hopeful. I want to also leave you in the spirit of Denise Oliver Velez, who just died. She was a wonderful pioneer in the Lords, as well as in the Black Panthers, and in the spirit of Assata Shakur. Let us not forget those who came before us or those who are coming after us. Peace and blessings, everyone. Know that this too shall pass. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end to all things.
Stepping till you reach higher ground. Nobody turns around. Step on up, you can claim the higher star. Straight ahead, it's not.
Oh, y'all. Dara Baldwin, y'all. Dara Baldwin, give it up. Let me tell you, one of the things, and with the Transformative Justice Coalition, we do trainings every year of Gen Zs aged between 18 and 35 years old, and we have all these experts that come in to spill into our Gen Z so they understand what's going on politically throughout the community and how they can respond to overcome the challenges. Dara really laid out really brilliantly some of the challenges that are before the community of people with disabilities. I want you to just sort of ruminate on, marinate on one thought for just a quick moment before we bring up the Legal Defense Fund. If you are a visually impaired person and you want to register to vote, now most of us know that when we go to register to vote, it's personal, right? You sit down, you want to be away from everybody, and you can check whatever box you want to check with all the other stuff when you register to vote. If you are a person in the United States of America, in any state, in any county, you cannot, if you are blind, register on your own to vote, because there are no voter registration forms that are in Braille. You've got to have somebody to come there and register you. And then you have to, I guess, just trust that they're doing the right things. That's wrong. That's not the American way. Let me tell you, we're going to see people in the courtrooms fighting for all these various voting rights issues that are there. We're so excited to bring up a representative from the LDF, from the Legal Defense Fund, in the person of Trey Murphy, who is the Director of Community Organizing for the Legal Defense Fund here in Georgia. Y'all give it up for Trey Murphy. Trey.
Yes. Let me see you move. Come on.
Ooh, we like a little theme music. Come on, give it up for the DJ. Good afternoon, ATL. Where y'all at? I'm a call and response type of guy. First and foremost, thank you to Barbara and the Transformative Justice Coalition for putting on this powerful, this critical, this exciting event at this particular moment in history. I first cannot talk about honoring John Lewis without also talking about honoring one of his closest mentors, Alla Baker. Alla Baker oftentimes reminded us that all we gotta do is give light and the people will find its way. And that's our job, to give light, to give love,
and make sure that the people find its way. At the Legal Defense Fund, we see this moment for what it is: another attempt by autocrats to strip us of the multiracial democracy that our ancestors fought, bled, and died for. And we are saying that we will not go back. Somebody say we will not go back. That's why at LDF we say that we are built for this. Turn to your neighbor and say, I was built for this. 6 years after the passing of Congressman John Lewis, we gather not simply to remember him, but to ask whether we have the courage to continue what he began. Too often, we only remember John Lewis as the congressman who exercised a lot of power in the legislature. But as some of the fellow speakers have already said, before he was in Congress, he was just a young organizer. Before the national recognition, there was just John Lewis, the SNCC student, the person who was a part of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. A generation of young people who refused to wait for permission to transform this country. John Lewis was barely in his 20s when he helped to organize the Freedom Rides, when he helped to lead sit-ins, when he marched across the Edmonds Pettus Bridge. And he put his body on the line for a democracy that had never fully recognized his own humanity. He understood that democracy has never been built, has never been about self-executing, about self-indulgence, about just oneself. Every generation must fight to make America live up to its promise. And John Lewis understood that more than most in this country. So I carry that lesson with me today. I have had the privilege to be trained by veterans of the civil rights movements, particularly by SNCC, the children of Ella Baker, people who not just inherited the stories, but organized the traditions. They exercised the discipline. They owned and held the responsibilities themselves. They taught my generation that movements are built person to person, community to community, generation to generation. We're not just simply preserving history here, y'all. We are carrying the torch forward. That is why I'm proud to serve at the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. This year, our President and Director Counsel, Janae Nelson, stood before the United States Supreme Court in the belly of the beast to defend what remains of the Voting Rights Act in the Calais case. The decision that followed dealt another devastating blow to one of the most important civil rights laws in American history. But let's be clear, while the courts can weaken laws, they cannot extinguish the movement. John Lewis never believed that progress would come from the courts' realms alone. He understood that litigation, organizing, public education, and ordinary people acting together have always moved this nation closer to justice. Today, we are faced with coordinated attacks on voting rights, on election administration, on the public confidence in our democracy itself. We continue to reject the myths of the widespread voter fraud that is being spewed out of the mouth of, as somebody said, the orange man, confronting the very real and well-documented realities of voter suppression that target Black communities and communities of color. That's the truth. Not that there's voting fraud, that Black communities, people of color, their voting rights have always been under attack. So this moment demands more than nostalgia. It demands imagination, because our goal cannot simply be to return to the status quo. The status quo is what John Lewis spent his life changing. This is our opportunity to refound democracy, to build one that truly reflects its highest ideals, where every voter can participate freely, fairly, and without intimidation. As my mentor would say, the expression of politics is the expression of economic interest. And these people understand that more than anything, that politics is the expression of economic interest. And the question always is, whose interest matters? So Freedom Summer was never just a season. As Barbara so eloquently shows, Good Trouble is never just a slogan. They are invitations, invitations to organize, invitations to serve, invitations to leave a democracy stronger than what we found it. And that's the work before all of us. If we have the courage to answer the call, then John Lewis' legacy will not simply just live on, it will continue to radically transform the world. So I want you all to make sure that you find 10 people leaving here today who are not a part of the movement. Don't go find your friends who you know already think like you, because I know how easy that is. Don't go talk to the family members who are already on your side, because we know how easy that is. But we're out to change hearts and minds like John Lewis did. So find 10 people, tell them, make sure that they go vote and join the movement. It's not just go vote in this day and age. We're clear that it's go vote and join the movement. Go vote and make sure that you join a local organization. Go vote and make that call to your senator and congressperson and tell them to vote no on the SAVE Act. Go vote and do all of those things, because we know that when we fight, we what? When we fight, we what? Thank you all.
All right, everyone, you are an amazing audience. Just thank you, thank you, thank you for all. We are bringing up now, we're heading towards the end of our program, and we're bringing up our final speakers. So we're going to bring up right now a person who I just met this year, and he is one of the hardest working people I've ever met, and he's serious about our democracy and about fighting for our rights. It is my pleasure. I am just blown away by, and I'm happy to introduce Yet Himu. He is the mobilizing coordinator for Public Citizen.
Hello, Atlanta. My name is Yin Mu, and I'm with Public Citizen. 6 years ago, Congressman John Lewis left us with a charge to get into good trouble, necessary trouble. He believed that ordinary people with extraordinary vision can redeem the soul of America. In his farewell letter, he reminded us that the vote is the most powerful change agent we have in a democratic society, and that we must use it because it is not guaranteed. My friends, I know that it is not guaranteed, because I have seen the scenes that we see before. Agents of the government shooting and killing its own people in the city streets in broad daylight. People arrested and disappeared with no due process. Companies and corporations paying obscene amounts of money to politicians in exchange for lucrative government contracts. Elections canceled, votes postponed, the full weight of the government brought down to influence and suppress the vote. See, Atlanta, the things that I just listed, these were the same things that happened in the country that I was born some 8,000 miles away. Conditions that caused my parents to make the decision to come to America for the promise of American democracy. Our country here is a country of immigrants and laws. Right now, both of those fundamental tenets are under attack. And in the face of the relentless attacks from our own government and the president, together we have taken to the streets over and over again just in the past year alone. From Hands Off to May Day to No Kings to Ice Out for Good and many other mobilizations in between. Millions of people are coming out to say in one voice, that we will not give up on American democracy. We are here today to fight for a vision of American democracy that is better than what we had. A democracy where we overturn Citizens United. A democracy that bans partisan gerrymandering. A democracy that protects the fundamental right to vote for all Americans, no matter the color of your skin or the language that you speak. I believe that we can achieve that. I believe that because we're not alone. Because of all of you standing in this hot, hot Georgia sun, and all of you watching at home. Day in and day out, we are organizing, mobilizing. We are voting in every election and making sure that everyone votes. And if we keep up that work, we will see the day where the promise of American democracy is finally fulfilled. And until that day comes, together, we will keep causing good trouble, necessary trouble. Thank you, Atlanta.
Thank you, Yet. And before I bring up our next speaker, I want to have all the TJC alumni who can come to the stage to please come. All the TJC alumni who can come to the stage, please come. Marcus Arbery, if you will also please join us at the stage as we wind down our program. Let me introduce our next speaker. Everybody knows I spent 26 years of my life being the president of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. While there, we created the 1-866-R-VOTE election protection hotline and created the whole totality of election protection. It is my joy to bring up the current coordinator for election protection, and he is just so wonderful to have here the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law, Nicholas Goddard. Hey, Nicholas.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Atlanta. My name is Nicholas Gothard with the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. In the summer of 1963, President John F. Kennedy assembled 244 lawyers in the East Wing of the White House. He urged them to expand the fight for civil rights beyond the streets and into the courts. Out of this meeting, the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law was formed. More than 60 years later, we find ourselves in a harrowing time for our democracy. The Supreme Court's decision in Louisiana v. Calais gutted a key part of the Voting Rights Act that legal advocates like the Lawyers Committee have used for decades to defend Black representation. Now, states across the country are moving to decimate districts that have given Black communities a voice in their government. And we know it won't stop with one state, it won't stop with one government, and we must fight back. The Lawyers Committee, under the leadership of Barbara Arnwine, was a founding member of election protection in 2001 precisely to fight against both the acute and the chronic challenges our democracy faces. Key in this effort is the nonpartisan election protection hotline, 866-OUR-VOTE, where any voter in any state with any question or problem can get voter information year-round. Staffed by trained volunteers, election protection is standing by and standing up for our right to vote. But we can't do it alone. It is incumbent on all of us to protect the votes of our communities. I'm asking you today, if you're here in Atlanta, if you're watching at home, to join election protection. Volunteer at a voting location with us. Share the hotline number in your churches and in your communities, and help your community know their rights going into the November elections. This moment requires us all to act, and not just us, but we must activate our neighbors and our loved ones to join hands with us in the defense of voting rights across the country. Because our freedom to vote is our freedom to lower the cost of living. Our freedom to vote is our freedom to live in a safe and just community. And our freedom to vote is our freedom for a fair and equitable education for our children. We must mobilize across Georgia and across the country. We must mobilize in the courts, we must mobilize in the streets, and we must mobilize at the polls this November. Thank you so much for joining us in the fight to protect the vote. We're asking you to join election protection this year and to get in some good trouble together. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicholas and the Lawyers Committee for all that the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law does. You know, as we're turning the stretch heading toward home on this program, we got to bring back to Georgia on your mind. We got to remind you that Georgia needs to vote, and how proud we are of how Georgia pushed back during that redistricting battle. I can think of no better person to bring to the microphone than a Georgian, and I keep telling y'all that Gen Z is going to be well represented. They're going to continue to be well represented so long as Barbara and I have anything to do with the presentation of information and politically in this United States of America. Y'all, give it up to this Gen Z brother who I met through the Black Man's Lab here in Georgia. He's none other than Georgia Representative Eric Bell. Eric, come on up here, brother.
Good afternoon, everyone. Power to the people. Power to the people. Power to the people. So John Lewis taught us how to get into good trouble. And good trouble is challenging segregation. Good trouble marches across the Edmund-Peterson Bridge. Good trouble sits in at lunch counters. Good trouble registers voters. And good trouble challenges America. But every generation has its own bridge to cross. Every generation has its own battle to fight. And every generation has its own definition of courage. The trouble John Lewis needed in 1965 cannot be the only trouble that we bring today, because the battlefield has changed. The opposition has evolved. And while good trouble remains necessary, today we must call for something even greater. So the message comes from Bishop Augustine himself that inspired me and us to all fight on the ice. People often say, I'll do it when hell freezes over. That means never. It means impossible. It means hopeless. But history has always begun when people fought anyway. When slavery looked permanent, people fought on the ice. When segregation looked permanent, people fought on the ice. When women couldn't vote, sisters fought on the ice. When justice looked impossible, everyone fought on the ice. And now it's our turn. John Lewis gave us good trouble. Now we must create trouble that represents the moment that we are in now. When fear becomes public policy, when immigrants are demonized instead of welcome, when families are separated and human dignity is ignored, we need immaculate trouble. Trouble rooted in compassion, trouble rooted in faith, trouble that reminds every person that is created in God's image. As Jesus said, I was a stranger and you welcomed me. When racism refuses to die, when prejudice simply comes in other clothes, when hate disguises itself as tradition, we need radiant trouble. Trouble that shines so brightly, darkness has nowhere to hide. Trouble that tears down walls and builds up tables. Trouble that refuses to let any human to be diminished. And authoritarianism, when disguised as patriotism, when democracy is weakened, when truth is traded as propaganda, we need excellent trouble. Trouble disciplined enough to defend liberty. Trouble courageous enough to speak the truth. Trouble wise enough to protect democracy before it disappears. when nation chooses bombs over dialogue, when children learn war before they learn peace, when violence becomes normal, we need wonderful trouble, the kind of trouble that Jesus called blessed. The blessed are the peacemakers, not because peace is easy, but because peace requires courage. When bigotry attempts to divide us, when hatred tells us we belong, when hatred tells us who belongs and who does not, we need beautiful trouble. Trouble that sees people before politics, neighbors before labels, love before fear. When poverty steals dreams, when opportunity depends on your zip code, when children inherit struggle instead of possibility, we need prosperous trouble. Trouble that creates jobs, build businesses, open schools, develop neighborhoods, creates wealth instead of simply taking it away. When mediocrity becomes acceptable, when excellence becomes mocked, when young people are told to shrink instead of soar, we need exquisite trouble. Trouble that demands our best. Trouble that refuses to be average. Trouble that believes greatness is our responsibility and integrity is not for sale. When character becomes negotiable, when convenience becomes conviction, we need impeccable trouble. Trouble that cleans hands, clears hearts, stands strong in unwavering principles. When cynicism says nothing can change, when critiques laugh at visionaries, when impossible becomes popular opinion, we need astonishing trouble, the kind that moves faith, mountains, and the kind of courage that changes history, the kind of leadership that leaves generations wondering, how did we get here? And when ordinary people are called to do extraordinary things, when the world says sit down, and when fear says be quiet, when power says bow, we need brilliant trouble. Brilliant enough to imagine a better world, brilliant enough to solve problems no one else can touch, brilliant enough to leave a nation better than we found it. The Bible tells us that 3 young men, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, if you grew up where I'm from, he might be a bad Negro, but because everyone has not bowed, he stood. When everyone surrendered, he stood steadfast. When the king heated the furnace 7 times hotter than ever, yet declared, our God is able to deliver us. But even if he is not, we will not bow. But that is what it means to fight on the ice. Standing when everyone else kneels, believing that everyone else doubts, speaking when everyone else is silent. And then there was Daniel, thrown into the lion's den because he broke the law. And we all know if a law is unjust, it's only just to break it. People willing to walk the impossible situations with unshakable faith. People willing to emerge from the lion's den stronger than when they entered. Because history does not remember those who watch from the sidelines. History remembers who stepped up in the arena. History remembers who stepped up when it got dangerous. History remembers who fought on the ice. So whenever this generation is called, we get into immaculate trouble. We get into radiant trouble. We get into wonderful trouble. We get into prosperous trouble, excellent trouble, exquisite trouble. We get into impeccable trouble, astonishing, brilliant, and phenomenal trouble. So fight for those who cannot stand for themselves. Stand for those who will be pushed aside. Speak for those whose voices will be silent. Build when others call it impossible. Love the others who choose to hate. Lead when others seek comfort. And fight on the ice. Fight when it's impossible becomes inevitable. Fight when justice rolls down like waters of righteousness, like mighty streams. Fight until every child knows opportunity. Fight until every family knows peace. Fight until every community knows hope. And fight until hell freezes over. So fellows, comrades, and all the blessed community, please don't stop fighting. Continue to fight on the ice. May God bless you, and may God bless every one of us to get into the courage that it takes to change the world. So make sure you get into some trouble. Thank you all for being here.
the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see.
All right, all right. So we promised you that you'd be all and see all these Gen Zs and the integration of all these voices. Well, we're going to continue moving on, and we want you to see more Gen Z. We want you to see more of what the Transformative Justice Coalition puts out with its alumni. So at this time, Barbara, what we want to do?
We are going to bring, it is our pleasure to bring up, we have our two last speaking groups. We're bringing up right now all these young, amazing Transformative Justice Coalition alumni. They have traveled the country, registering voters, turning out voters to vote, getting out the vote. They've been in Georgia, Florida, they've been in Texas, they've been in New Jersey. Come on, folks. We've been everywhere, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Come on. We have done it. Illinois. It is Philadelphia. We are so blessed. Come on, my beautiful Gen Zs. Janice Gentry from Alabama. Kenya Shavers. Adrian Consinari Jr. Bryson Powers. James Lieberman. Jason Davis. You are only seeing a small tip of the iceberg of our amazing Gen Z power. So to lead us off, we're going to have Janice Gentry read to you, on behalf of all of us, John Lewis's farewell letter, which he wrote to the next generation.
And before she reads, the one city that we left out, who's here representative, is Edward Ward from the city of Chicago. We certainly got Chicago represented. Janice, all yours.
While my time here has now come to an end, I want you to know that in the last days and hours of my life, you inspired me. You filled me with hope about the next chapter of the great American story when you used your power to make a difference in our society. Millions of people motivated simply by human compassion laid down the burdens of division. Around the country and the world, you set aside race, class, age, language, nationality to demand respect for human dignity. That is why I had to visit Black Lives Matter Plaza in Washington, though I was admitted to the hospital the following day. I just had to see and feel it for myself that after many years of silent witness, the truth is still marching on. Emmett Till was my George Floyd. He was my Rashard Brooks, Sandra Bland, and Breonna Taylor. He was 14 when he was killed, and I was only 15 years old at the time. I will never forget the moment when it became so clear that he could easily have been me. In those days, fear constrained us like an imaginary prison, and troubling thoughts of potential brutality committed for no understandable reason were the bars. Though I was surrounded by two loving parents, plenty of brothers, sisters, cousins, their love could not protect me from the unholy oppression waiting just outside that family circle. Unchecked, unrestrained violence and government-sanctioned terror had the power to turn a simple stroll to the store for some Skittles or an innocent morning jog down a lonesome country road into a nightmare. If we are to survive as one unified nation, we must discover what so readily takes root in our hearts that could rob Mother Emanuel Church in South Carolina of her brightest and best, shoot unwitting concert goers in Las Vegas, and choke to death the hopes and dreams of a gifted violinist like Elijah McClain. Like so many young people today, I was searching for a way out, or some might say a way in. And then I heard the voice of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. on an old radio. He was talking about the philosophy and discipline of nonviolence. He said when we are all complicit, when we tolerate injustice. He said it is not enough to say it will get better by and by. He said each of us has a moral obligation to stand up, and speak out. When you see something that is not right, you must say something. You must do something. Democracy is not a state. It is an act, and each generation must do its part to build what we call the beloved community, a nation and a world society at peace with itself. Ordinary people with extraordinary vision can redeem the soul of America by getting in what I call good trouble, necessary trouble. Voting and participating in the democratic process are key. The vote is the most powerful nonviolent change agent you have in a democratic society. You must use it because it is not guaranteed. You can lose it. You must also study and learn the lessons of history because humanity has been involved in this soul-wrenching, existential struggle for a very long time. People on every continent have stood in your shoes through decades and centuries before you. The truth does not change, and that is why the answers worked out long ago can help you find solutions to the challenges of our time. Continue to build union between movements stretching across the globe because we must put away our willingness to profit from the exploitation of others. Though I may not be here with you, I urge you to answer the highest calling of your heart and stand up for what you truly believe. In my life, I have done all I can to demonstrate that the way of peace, the way of love and nonviolence is the more excellent way. Now, it's your turn to let freedom ring. When historians pick up their pens to write the story of the 21st century, let them say that it was your generation who laid down the heavy burdens of hate at last, and that peace finally triumphed over violence, aggression, and war. So I say to you, walk with the wind, brothers and sisters, and let the spirit of peace and the power of everlasting love be your guide. Thank you.
There's a reason why there's a win out here today, right? All right, everybody. And right now we're going to have remarks by Adrian Consineri, who is from the state of Georgia. He just ran for Secretary of State to show you that our folks aren't just playing about this democracy.
Well, good afternoon, Georgia. Good afternoon, America. And good afternoon, freedom fighters. I am Adrian Consineri Jr., and I am a proud Transformative Justice Coalition alumni. I stand before you today as a product of the fantastic work, the fantastic determination, and the proof that producing from the work that you do, from the soil that you have, is possible. I would like to personally thank Attorney Arnwine and Attorney Jones for pouring into the next generation non-stop, day in and day out. It is because of the work that you do that the next generation can safely take the baton. I would like to brag a little bit about the folks that you see behind me. You see, we're all from across this entire nation. We go forward in every single community, making sure that voices are heard, making sure that voices are amplified, that people know how to fight back, and that they know exactly who their enemy is. But at the same time as us going forward and doing the fight, we know how to encourage one another. We know how to uplift each other, and we know how to make that change necessary. But that calls for something. And it's a great equation that has always equaled good trouble. It is a great equation that has always equaled freedom. But that means that it must take the sacrifice of comfort. It must take the sacrifice of our own content in being in the places that genuinely do not benefit us in any capacity. So we stand before you, ready to take the stand to be different. So moving forward, I would like to say to our ancestors who are no longer with us, thank you. Thank you for the work. Thank you for the sacrifice. Thank you for what you have done for us. To the generation that is still here with us, that has seen the fight, that has seen the struggle, and has seen the change, we thank you for still fighting with us. We thank you for still being there. And to the generation that is ready to take the baton, tomorrow is today. Next week is now. There is no reason for us to sit idly by any longer. We must move forward, we must act, and we must make good trouble always and forever. Thank you, TJC.
And you'll hear from Edward Ward, who will also introduce Ahmaud Arbery. I'm sorry, we'll also introduce the father of Ahmaud Arbery, Mr. Marcus Arbery.
Thank you. And as we stand here, this is not just a call for all of us. This is also a clarion call for the Gen Z and millennial faith leaders. See, we're not merely called to preach the gospel from a pulpit. We are called to embody the gospel to the world. The message of Jesus Christ was never intended to be confined to Sunday mornings or limited to the walls of a sanctuary. The gospel is living, active, and transformative. It calls us to more than sermons. It calls us to action. When Jesus walked the earth, he didn't simply preach about love. He loved the outcast. He didn't simply teach about mercy. He extended mercy to those whom society had rejected. He didn't simply speak of justice. He confronted oppression, challenged hypocrisy, defended the vulnerable, and proclaimed freedom to the captive. If we are to follow Christ, we must do the same. The church cannot be satisfied with proclaiming salvation while remaining silent in the face of suffering. We cannot preach about God's love while ignoring our neighbor's pain. We can't teach mercy without holding compassion and withholding compassion. We cannot celebrate righteousness while turning away from injustice. The gospel compels us to move beyond our comfort zones and become visible expressions of God's heart in our communities. Micah 6:8 reminds us to do what the Lord requires us to do, which is to do justice, to love mercy, and walk humbly with our God. And they are not separate from the gospel. They are evidence that the gospel is alive within us. Justice is love applied to systems. Mercy is love extended to people. Humility is love surrendered to God. And part of that living out the calling means being willing to get into what John Lewis called good trouble. Good trouble is the holy discomfort of standing where Christ would stand. It is the courage to challenge injustice when silence would be easier. It is the willingness to disrupt systems that devalue human life, confront policies that harm the vulnerable, and speak truth when others choose convenience over conviction. John Lewis understood that faith cannot remain passive in the presence of injustice. He walked across bridges, faced violence, endured hatred, and risked his own safety because he believed that the moral arc of history only bends toward justice when people of conscience are willing to act. For people of faith, getting into good trouble is not rebellion for rebellion's sake. It is the obedience to the command of Christ to love our neighbor and seek justice for those who are oppressed. To this generation of pastors and ministers, especially Gen Z faith leaders, this moment belongs to you. You have not been called merely to inherit pulpits. You have been called to carry prophetic mantles. Yours is a generation uniquely positioned to bridge the sanctuary and the streets, to speak truth in a digital age, to challenge injustice with courage, and to demonstrate the radical love of Christ in a world hungry for authenticity. Your time is now. You cannot stand behind the pulpit and proclaim the works of Christ if you refuse to get into the streets. Now is your time. Now is your time. Now is your time. I now bring to you the father of one of our fallen but not forgotten, the Honorable Marcus Arbery.
Good day, everybody. Number one, we're going to give all glory to God. I'm going to tell you a story about my people right here, how we got connected. I'm letting y'all know how serious it is, too, Bo. When Ahmaud was killed February 23rd of 2020, transformer justice came to us. So I'm letting y'all know how it is important to vote, because we had a corrupt DA. And DJC encouraged us to write up petitions. When people come together, they bring changes. When they told us to write up these petitions to get that corrupt DA out the office, we all got together and did it. So I'm letting y'all know how it is important to vote. Get out and vote, you can bring changes. Don't think your vote don't count, because your vote does count. So I'm letting y'all know, please, get out and vote. Come on, because if you can't bring no change if you're sitting down and do nothing. You got to get out and put them names on the dollar line and get them wrong people out these offices, because it will bring changes. Because we got rid of some corrupt cops, we got rid of corrupt DAs, all through them votes. And I'm going to tell you something else. Y'all people better stick together, because we all won. And I'm going to tell you, I wrote a book about the whole thing, letting the world know what happened to my baby. And I want the whole world to get this book and read it, because it's all the truth about what happened. Corrupt DA, how they try to cover it up, all this stuff. So we need to know what's our surrounding is, who our enemy is. That's why we got to stick together and crush all this hate and racism. And if you don't know how to get this book, all you got to do is go to where'sdaddy.org, and you can order this book and read it, because it's real serious and it is deep. It's the truth. We need to know the truth. Come on, people. Let's stick together and let's keep voting.
Thank you so much, Marcus, for those words. Thank you for being who you are. You know, when someone has gone through a tragedy like the Arbery family, where they've had their loved one hunted down and killed for no reason other than the color of their skin, they could easily withdraw and just withdraw from society and just leave it alone. That is not what the Arbery family did. They came together and they said, we will show the power of voting. We will show the power of love over the hate that we have now experienced. So we're very appreciative of you, Margaret. It wasn't just Brunswick, Georgia. It wasn't just the county that they're in. It wasn't just Georgia, but it has been the United States of America and internationally that has been inspired by the actions of the Arbery family. So I want to thank you, Marcus, for all that you're doing, all that you've done, and all that you will do. I also want to thank all of the members of the committee that has put all of this together. I certainly want to thank Dewana Thompson, who is here. Dewana, thank you so much. I want to thank Emil Washington, who's also working with Dewana and putting this on. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much, Emil. I want to thank Black Voters Matters, who've been with us putting this matter on. Come on, Barbara. We want to thank
Janita Dawkins! Where are you, Janita? Come on, no, Janita, come on, stand up. She's out there, right there at the booth for TJC. We love you, Janita. Thank you. We want to thank Indivisible. We want to thank DFAD, Declaration for American Democracy. We want to thank American Federation of Teachers. We want to thank Common Cause. We want to thank the League of Women Voters. We want to thank Rock the Vote. We want to thank the Leadership Conference. We want to thank the new National Christian Leadership Movement, because remember, everybody, we don't stop today. Tomorrow is the final day of this week, National Weekend of Action, and all over the country, you're going to see people in religious institutions and their churches and in all of their other places of worship gathering together to what? To recognize and celebrate the legacy of John Lewis. We're calling it Good Trouble Sunday. So everyone, this is but a step in the road on our quest.
Thank you to all the marshals who have helped us today. You see them out here. Thank you to all the medics. Thank you to all the local organizations that came out. And folks, John Lewis's legacy is so big. We think about voting rights and we think about the other causes that he stood up for Black Lives Matter, etc. But you know, the other day I was at the AFT reception at the Blacksonian, which is the Smithsonian's National Museum for African American History and Culture. And folks, that museum wouldn't exist without John Lewis. That's one of the national treasures that people don't even know that he was part of. And so I want to say, everyone, thank you again to our amazing audience. You've been here for hours in this heat. We're so grateful to you. We're so grateful for everything. We're so grateful for everyone. Just thank you. I turn it over to Daryl to take us home.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. You know, thank you for each of the speakers that have come out to be here today to certainly lift up the life of former Congressman John Lewis. I especially want to close it out with a real special thank you to the family of Congressman John Lewis. It's the family of Congressman John Lewis that gave us the green light that said, please lift it up and push voting rights, push up the mantle, push up and go and have people register and be involved and carry on the legacy of Congressman John Lewis. So wherever you are listening and hearing our voices and watching this program, we want you to go to the Rock the Vote app, to the Rock the Vote site, and check your voter registration status. If you're not registered to vote, get registered to vote. And most importantly, check on your neighbors and be certain that they're registered too. Don't stop there. Go down your corner. Go down, talk to your family, email, text, whatever it takes. Be certain that people are registered to vote. We want to be certain that this election that comes November has as much voter participation in this democracy that we can possibly have. Barbara, what would you like to say as we are going home?
You know, everybody, it doesn't end right now. This program is ending, but at 3 o'clock, the next gen and young people will be gathering and calling voters all around the country. Said, are you registered? Check your registration. It's time to make sure you know when your next election is. They will be doing this work because, like we said, this is only the beginning. It is not meant to be the end until victory is won. Until victory is won. Until victory is won.
Thank you, Barbara. Thank you. Folks, as we close it out, we encourage you to tune in to our radio show, Igniting Change, every Tuesday at noon Eastern Standard Time. And we'll close it out this way, because we close out the show the same way. We want you to there's a time when you've got to get off the sidewalks and get into the streets and to get into some good trouble, some necessary trouble. Folks, as we end this program, let's head to the ballot box. Let's get off the sidewalks. Let's get in that necessary trouble, and let's make this voter turnout in this November the greatest in our country's history. Peace, everybody.
All right. Ooh, yeah.
Well, oh yeah. Here we go, y'all. Sing a little message out to those of y'all who feel like you're struggling.
Yeah. It's a simple song. Yesterday, a man said to me, said, how can you smile